This page is the July 1993 cover of BeepMD magazine, featuring Sonic the Hedgehog and Tails prominently. The main headlines announce a deep dive into the reality of the Mega Drive version of Virtua Racing, and a special report on the new Wonder Mega M2 hardware. The cover also highlights articles on several key games of the era, including Lethal Enforcers, Street Fighter II Champion Edition, and Yu Yu Hakusho Gaiden. There's a dedicated section covering Mega CD releases, like Sonic CD, Sylphid, Dungeon Master, and Monkey Island. Other featured games listed vertically include classics such as Rocket Knight Adventures, Shining Force 2, Golden Axe 2i, Battletoads, Phantasy Star IV, The End of the Millennium, and Gunstar Heroes. The magazine also promises a feature exploring lesser-known aspects of Sega, and includes a strategy guide for 3x3 eyes. Seima Densetsu. This page showcases a major upcoming title, Shinobi 2-1, Return of the Ninja Master, highlighting the fierce conflict between the ultimate ninja Joe Musashi and the nefarious Neo-Zed organizations. Set for a July 23 release, the page details Musashi's quest to defeat the Shadow Master and his forces. The preview emphasizes the game's intense action and varied gameplay, displayed through vibrant screenshots featuring epic boss encounters, dynamic horseback combat, and even thrilling surfing segments. Beyond the main feature, the page also points to other significant Mega Drive action games, visually suggesting masterpieces like Golden Axe 2i and likely Phantasy Star IV, reinforcing the system's strong lineup of high-quality action and fantasy titles. This page features the highly anticipated sequel, Golden Axe 2i. The artwork showcases the new cast of characters joining the fight, including the powerful beastman Proud Kragger, the agile Kronos Evil Late, and the human warriors Kane Grinder and Sarah Barn, alongside the iconic Golden Axe logo. The game is presented as new battle action, expanding on the series' signature sword and magic combat. It promises a world ruled by these powers, and highlights the 4 unique warriors available to play. Key features mentioned include flashy magic attacks against monsters, a fighting game style versus mode, and, surprisingly, combined magic spells during 2-player cooperative play. The page reinforces the excitement for the return of this fantasy action series for its 3rd main installment. Screenshots provide a glimpse of the gameplay across diverse environments like deserts and forests, showing the multiple enemies you'll face, along with what appears to be a stage selection screen. The page confirms the game's release date is scheduled for June 25, 1993, priced at 6,800 yen, further solidifying the Mega Drive's robust lineup of action and fantasy titles. There is also a small advertisement promoting the Sega Mega Drive 2 console itself. This page introduces J.League Pro Striker, a realistic sports soccer game presented by Sega. It highlights the arrival of the J.League's excitement on the Mega Drive, featuring official licensing with real teams and 160 players from the league's 10 clubs appearing with their actual names. The page showcases gameplay with a screenshot demonstrating realistic actions like dribbling and shooting. The game supports multiplayer via the separately sold Sega Tap. As a special promotion, purchasing the game includes a J.League Pro Soccer Player Directory gift. The game was scheduled for release on June 18 for 8,800 yen. Additionally, there is a brief advertisement promoting the Mega Drive 2 console for its high performance and low price of 12,800 yen. This page features Illusion City, a cyberpunk RPG making its debut on the Mega CD. It's described as a shocking near-future super legend RPG. The main visual depicts a futuristic city setting with towering structures and a dynamic scene featuring a female character on a motorcycle. Key features highlighted include highly detailed 8-head character design, innovative character direction, a VR system version 2.5, command-based battles, and music arranged by Hiroshi Ohta. The narrative is set in a chaotic near-future Hong Kong, focusing on a man searching for his past and a female police officer battling evil. Screenshots show the game's interface, including character portraits and combat scenes. The game was recently released and is priced at 4,980 yen by Microcabin. This page features a big announcement for Konami's action game on the Sega Genesis/Mega Drive, Rocket Knight Adventures. The page prominently displays the game's title and features text introducing the main character, Sparkster, as a hot-blooded Justice Knight. The vertical text describes Sparkster as a favorite, undergoing intense training for his worldwide debut, and being a powerful, fast, and brave character. The page is essentially an exciting debut announcement for the game. There is also a release celebration quiz contest where participants can answer a simple question about the game's title to win various Sparkster merchandise items, including keychains, trainers, mugs, and badges. The contest entries were due by August 31st of that year via postcard. This page marks the grand debut of Konami's fantastic action platformer, Rocket Knight Adventures, starring the fiery opossum knight, Sparkster. The page features a striking illustration of Sparkster in his signature armor, sword drawn against a sky background, perfectly embodying the heroic and adventurous spirit of the game. Large, impactful text declares his worldwide debut and birth, highlighting the excitement surrounding this new hero. The announcement confirms the game's release date as August 6th, priced at 7,800 yen. As a licensed Sega Mega Drive title, this page serves as the official reveal, building anticipation for players eager to experience Sparkster's action-packed adventure. This page presents an exciting look at the secret of Monkey Island for the Sega Mega CD. The artwork features the game's memorable protagonist, Guybrush Threepwood, along with the iconic title logo, and a dynamic film strip running diagonally across the page filled with screenshots from the game. A bold headline declares it offers fun that surpasses movies, a hilarious belly-aching huge laugh adventure. The text introduces Guybrush Threepwood's quest to become a pirate, his arrival on Melee Island, and the colorful cast of characters he encounters, including the infamous ghost pirate LeChuck. It emphasizes the game's cinematic presentation and use of LucasArts' renowned SCUM system. The release date is listed as July 30th, priced at 8,800 yen, noting its exclusivity to the Mega CD and compatibility with the Sega Mouse. This page features prominent artwork for the secret of Monkey Island on the left, depicting a young pirate and a ship, with a headline announcing the game's release is approaching. On the top right, an advertisement promotes KO Flying Squadron, a thrilling shooting game set in the Bakumatsu era, featuring a distinctive character design and gameplay screenshots. Below it, an ad for World Cup 93 Yano introduces a full-scale mahjong game, boasting strategic AI, showcasing gameplay screens and highlighting its features for competitive play and practice. This page showcases the epic space combat shooter Sylphid for the Mega CD, featuring stunning artwork of the main spacecraft against a cosmic background. The headline highlights the fusion of powerful 3D visuals and excellent vertical scrolling shooting gameplay. The text explains how the game utilizes impressive CG images and real-time polygon graphics for depth and realism, including precise collision detection. It also details the technical achievement of using the system's CPU and special hardware for high-speed processing via complete parallel operation of 3 CPUs, enabling smooth 15 frames per second background video and high-speed polygon drawing. Screenshots display the game's distinct visual style across different environments, including space, geometric ground terrain, and a landscape. The game is priced at 8,800 yen, excluding tax, and is announced as releasing soon. It was developed by GameArts. This page features a large dramatic illustration of a samurai figure, likely Toyotomi Hideyoshi, promoting the game Taiko Rishiden by Koei. The headline reads something like, "Even a commoner has ambition," suggesting the game follows the Rag Storage's story of Hideyoshi. Screenshots show different game modes, including an overhead view of a town or castle, and a battle scene. The page highlights that the game is available for both Mega Drive and Super Famicom, priced at 11,800 yen. Gamebox art for both versions is also displayed. The text elaborates on the game's simulation of Hideyoshi's life, detailing his journey from humble beginnings to achieving great success, emphasizing the strategic and personal development aspects of the gameplay. This page features a dynamic illustration of German tanks advancing through a landscape, highlighting the Mega Drive game Kishi Densetsu, which translates to Night Legend. The game is presented as a realistic tank battle simulation based on historical accuracy and detailed data. Players command a German tank company, aiming to win battles and survive the brutal battlefield. Skill in combat is rewarded, potentially allowing the player to earn the prestigious Iron Cross. Visuals shown include an overhead strategic map and a screen displaying an award. The game was planned for a July 16th release, at a price of 9,800 yen before tax. This page introduces All Shark V, an impressive space RPG designed specifically for the Mega CD. The central illustration features the main characters in a dramatic pose against a backdrop of a distant planet, hinting at a grand cosmic adventure. Described as an uncompromising space RPG, the game promises a massive scale, boasting over 30 towns scattered across planets and more than 100 indoor maps to explore. Players can anticipate powerful battle scenes and moving full animation sequences, utilizing the MegaDrive's enhanced capabilities. The music is also highlighted as a hyper-music world that goes beyond typical game scores. The page notes key staff members, including the scenario writer, character designer, and music composer. Scheduled for a September 1993 release at 8,800 yen before tax, All Shark vs. Clearly aimed to be a substantial RPG experience. The page also mentions related releases, such as the original soundtrack in August, and a promotional image song CD single by the group Pafu, released in July. This page, the table of contents and main feature introduction for the July 1993 issue of Beep Mega Drive, is packed with essential Sega coverage. Featured prominently is a massive strategy guide, special for 3x3 eyes, Legend of the Divine Demon, broken into multiple parts. We also get the new release scramble covering upcoming titles like Castlevania, Bloodlines, Battlemania Daiginju, Panorama Cotton, MiG-29, Blaster Master, and Marble Madness, alongside the B Mega Hot menu, with deep dives into fan favorites like Phantasy Star IV, Surging Aura, Golden Axe 2i, Rocket Knight Adventures, Gunstar Heroes, The Revenge of Shinobi, James Pond 2, Robocod, Powermonger, and the challenging Eliminate Down. A major double special highlights Sega itself, probing into lesser-known facts, and more critically, takes an in-depth look at the Mega Drive version of virtual racing, specifically detailing its groundbreaking use of the special SVP chip. There's also a hardware scoop on the new Wonder Mega RGM2 model. The Mega CD press section previews upcoming CD titles, including Sylphid, Sonic CD, Popful Mail, Dungeon Master 2, Monkey Island, Might and Magic 2i, Arcus, Cyborg 009, and Eye of the Beholder, showcasing the expanding library for the add-on. An urgent report delivers fresh details on Shining Force 2 and Shining Force Gaiden 2, complete with a battle screenshot. The rest of the page lists various columns, reader contributions, news updates, and features covering developers like Konami and Treasure, rounding out a comprehensive look at the Sega scene. This page features the shop data sections, providing sales rankings for both Mega Drive and Game Gear software. The Mega Drive Top 10 chart highlights several strong new releases this month. The #1 spot goes to the highly anticipated fighting game, Fatal Fury, noted for its faithful port, despite slightly loose controls. The Mega CD version of Final Fight also lands high, praised as an essential purchase for CD owners. A unique adventure game, Switch, which is the first to support the mouse, is also a strong new entry, described as surprisingly deep. Popular titles like Puyo Puyo and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 continue to hold strong positions, showing enduring appeal. Other notable entries include Ranma 1/2, a Sega Classic Arcade Collection, the RPG Lunar, the Silver Star, the strategy game Megalomania, and Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2i on Mega CD, which is highlighted for having more extras than the cartridge version. Below this, the Game Gear Top 5 shows Sonic the Hedgehog 2 taking the top spot, with Puyo Puyo following closely. Other titles in the ranking include Mickey Mouse's Magical Crystal, a baseball game titled Pro Baseball GG League, and Shining Force Gaiden. The write-up mentions the continued success of Game Gear and anticipates a +1 set release. This page presents user data showing the top 20 games most requested for porting and shop data, listing the top 5 popular arcade games, highlighting strong fighting game presence and Konami's impact. This page presents user data, showcasing the top 20 most highly anticipated new games for the Mega Drive. It's clear that fighting games are still riding high on the wave of popularity noted on the previous page, with Street Fighter II leading the charge at #1, despite its release being slightly delayed, as shown in the screenshot of Ryu facing Sagat. The #2 spot goes to the impressive-looking shooting game Sylphid for the Mega CD, promising stunning visuals reminiscent of Starblade. RPGs remain a strong force, with fan favorites making a return or appearing as sequels, Shining Force 2 at 3rd, Phantasy Star IV at 4th, and the character-driven Legend of the Sacred Devil, 3x3 Eyes, at 5th. The rankings from 6 to 20 feature a mix of genres, including more RPGs like Surging Aura and YSIV, Mask of the Sun, action titles like Gunstar Heroes and Shinobi 2i, and even Sonic the Hedgehog CD. The magazine notes that the arrival of these new, highly anticipated titles is significantly shaking up the rankings, reflecting strong consumer interest. This page presents the latest software schedule across the Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear platforms. The Mega Drive schedule section lists numerous upcoming titles, including sequels like Road Rash 2, Shinobi 2i, Echo the Dolphin, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3, as well as new releases like Gunstar Heroes and Castlevania Bloodlines. There's a mix of genres, from action and sports to RPGs and strategy games, showing a busy release slate for the platform. Mega CD schedule also details upcoming releases, featuring titles such as Sylphid, The Secret of Monkey Island, and Dungeon Master 2. Like the Mega Drive, it covers a variety of genres, hinting at the broadening appeal of the CD format. The Game Gear schedule provides a look at portable releases, including Streets of Rage 2, GG LST 2, Power Strike 2, and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The handheld also sees a diverse lineup of upcoming games. In the editorial check section, the magazine notes that the release date for Street Fighter II Special Champion Edition remains unclear, which is disappointing, but the potential port of an arcade fighting game from S Company, likely Capcom, is a big deal and worth watching. They also mention that laser-active releases are slightly delayed, but expected soon, adding another point of interest. The editors seem excited about the continued influx of major titles across all Sega platforms. Various game developers are releasing titles for the Mega CD. Sega's J.League Champion Soccer is slated for June 18th, while Konami's Rocket Knight Adventures is set for August 6th. Other notable releases include Tengen's Steel Talons, June 25th, and possibly Nostalgia 1907 December. Several companies highlighted positive reception for their titles, including Mega Schwarzschild, Might, and Magic 2i, and Sengoku Densho. Development updates were also given for The Secret of Monkey Island, Zero Wing, Allshark, and Black Hole Assault. Various other projects were mentioned, but the overall theme is a flurry of upcoming Mega CD releases. This page features the BeepMD Race section, a unique review and commentary system for new and upcoming releases. It highlights two main games, James Bond 007, The Duel, a new action game from EA Victor releasing June 9th, shown with a screenshot of a castle environment, and Slap Fight MD, Tengen's port of the classic arcade shooter, releasing June 11th, depicted with a screenshot of its vertical scrolling gameplay. Commentary from various contributors is included, noting the current strong lineup of releases for the Mega Drive, but also expressing disappointment over the absence of the expected Street Fighter II Champion Edition this month. Reviewers with different perspectives, a beginner girl, a foreign game user, a game mania group, and a general game user, offer their thoughts. One review describes James Bond 007, The Duel, as having decent graphics but frustrating pitfalls, rating it a 6. Slap Fight MD is praised by some as a solid, fan-anticipated port worth the wait, receiving ratings of 7 and 8, though noted for its difficulty. Commentary also touches upon playing Ogre Battle on the Super Famicom, finding it interesting and rating it a 7, while encouraging original Mega Drive titles. The MegaDog Race system rates games using dog icons based on average scores from 4 reviewers, with more dogs indicating a higher rating on a 10-step scale. Please provide the text you would like me to summarize. This page features reviews of several new releases, presented with screenshots and ratings. The spotlight is on 3 games: Steel Talons, Mega Schwarzschild, and Tom and Jerry. Steel Talons, a helicopter simulation ported from Atari games, is noted for its weak graphics, jerky movement, and challenging controls which made it difficult to pick up, leading to some fan disappointment. Despite attempts at simulation, it felt more like a simple action game focused on firing homing missiles. Mega Schwarzschild, a strategy title, is highlighted for its scenario and combat, being based on a PC Engine version and utilizing the CD format. The reviewer suggests it has compelling story elements and engaging battles. The Tom and Jerry action game is praised for capturing the cartoon's spirit with smooth animation, though the number of stages is seen as somewhat limited, offset slightly by bonus stages. The editorial sections reflect on the month's releases, feeling slightly sparse, possibly due to summer. They recommend Steel Talons and Slap Fight from the current lineup, and mention other titles like the disappointing Golden Axe 2 Eyes, and classics like RoboCop and Slap Fight. They also note the variety in the releases this month, including titles like High Rollers and a Bond game, expressing a desire for more robust domestic Japanese software releases. This page is the B-Mega Reader Race, a reader-voted ranking of Sega Mega Drive games. The main section presents the current ranking table, where Puyo Puyo has taken the top spot, followed by Gambler Jiko Chushinya 2 and Streets of Rage 2. Two specific games from the ranking are featured with reader comments and scores. Coming in at number 10 is Final Fight CD. Readers offer mixed opinions. While some praise the near-perfect arcade port and control feel, others point out drawbacks like missing sound effects for off-screen enemies, less destructible environments, and slowdown during special moves. Ranked at number 15 is Fatal Fury. Commenters appreciate how close it feels to the original Neo Geo game in terms of graphics and gameplay, despite some character omissions and potentially repetitive combat strategies. Positive notes highlight the effective graphics and satisfying special moves, though some found the background music underwhelming or the ending disappointing. A commentary section discusses the overall ranking, noting Puyo Puyo's strong performance and the shifting positions of other popular titles. It suggests the top of the chart remains competitive and volatile. A brief mention is also made of Europa Sensen, a war game ranked much lower at 97, described as featuring many tanks but lacking depth in air combat and having confusing units. This page continues the B-Mega Reader Race rankings, presenting games from position 52 down to 115, including popular titles like Outrun, Shining in the Darkness, Lemmings, Ghouls and Ghosts, and Toe Jam and Earl. Several titles from different parts of the list are featured with reader comments and scores. The Sega Classic Arcade Collection, ranked at 32, is considered good value for money, bringing together famous old arcade games, though some readers note inconsistent sound quality. Jaguar XJ220, coming in at 53, is praised for its arcadey quality visuals and obstacles, but its slippery handling, especially in two-player mode, is a significant drawback. Further down the list, Sim Earth at 87 is recognized for its decent graphics and sound, but readers found it lacking in accessibility and overall appeal, feeling more like educational software despite its potential. J-League Champion Soccer, way down at 173, drew initial frustration for its passing mechanics, but players found it becomes more enjoyable with practice, although the AI on hard difficulty is deemed overly strong. The potential problem section highlights games needing attention. The Kickboxing at 196 features realistic character movements that quickly become dull, coupled with limited moves and difficult controls. And Annette, again, ranked at 244, receives criticism for its repetitive gameplay loop and thin content, despite its unique visual style. A small side section includes brief, humorous anecdotes from readers visiting game shops or playing games like Puyo Puyo and Shadow Dancer. This Mega Drive Reader Race page features Kyukai Dochuki, a baseball game notable for its unique presentation, distinctive player faces, and solid gameplay. It's praised for its satisfying hitting mechanics, even if initially challenging. The page also displays the ranking list from 116 to 172, including titles like Golden Axe 2 and Thunder Force 2 MD. Commentary focuses on the B and C tier games, noting hidden gems and analyzing title movement. Reader comments and a voting section round out the page. This page continues the Mega Drive Reader Race rankings, picking up from number 173 and listing titles down to 236. The featured section focuses on mid-tier games, with magazine reporters giving their takes. Highlighted titles include Bahamut Senki, a strategy RPG described as having mixed points, particularly regarding its somewhat poor graphics but offering depth for fans of the genre with multiple masters and scenarios. Shadow Dancer, The Secret of Shinobi is reviewed, noted as the sequel to The Revenge of Shinobi and featuring the ninja dog Yamato. It's praised for its fun gameplay and the dog's utility, though stages are considered short. The horizontal shooter Steel Empire is recommended under the Next Buy section, highlighted for its cinematic feel but noted as being hard to find due to limited distribution. Finally, Batman Returns is mentioned in the Retired Horse chart, indicating it didn't rank due to insufficient votes, and its performance is described as indifferent. This page delves further into the B-Mega Reader rankings, continuing the extensive list on the right side. A featured analysis section examines the state of original games, comparing top-ranked Super Famicom titles with Mega Drive ones. The commentary suggests that while original games perform well on both platforms, The Super Famicom's popular list is strong, with original sequels like Popsin Twinbee and Dragon Quest V, whereas Mega Drive originals, despite good quality, might lack broad user appeal. Elsewhere, readers are invited to participate in prediction games. One asks players to guess the final ranking of Gawoo Entertainment's shooting game, X-Lancer, shown with a City Combat screenshot. Another challenges predictions for the average reader score of the Taito classic Night Striker when it appears on the odds chart, featuring a shot of its unique cockpit perspective. The editorial summary notes the volatile nature of the top rankings, mentioning Puyo Puyo's stability and anticipation for the arrival of Street Fighter II-. This page dives into the excitement of the J.League's debut season, focusing on the opening match between Verdy Kawasaki and Yokohama Marinos at the National Stadium, witnessed by over 60,000 spectators. The coverage highlights the high level of play from both teams, described as a golden card match between two powerhouses from the previous Japan League era. Despite Verdy Kawasaki's historical difficulty against Marinos, the match delivered thrilling moments and quality soccer that confirmed the promise of the new league. The report details key moments from the opening game, which Yokohama Marinos won 21, including the goal scorers Mayer for Kawasaki and Everton, and Diaz for Marinos. The page also features updates on other teams, noting Jeff United Ichihara's strong start, attributed in part to the Litbarski effect, leading them to the top of the early standings. A table shows the initial league rankings after 4 matches. Additionally, there's a brief mention of the Japan national team's progress in their World Cup qualifiers. The bottom of the page is adorned with various J.League team mascots. This page covers the FIRM World Championship motorcycle race at Suzuka in April 1993, detailing the GP1, GP2, and GP3 battles, and highlighting the strong performance of Japanese riders across all classes. This page features the 13th installment of the B-Mega CM Detective Team, focusing on analyzing television commercials. This time, the spotlight is on the CMS for the Mega Drive titles Phantasy Star II and Burning Force, alongside a comparative look at the Game Gear commercials. The segment for Phantasy Star II showcases key moments from its commercial, starting with a striking image of a mechanical fish consuming logos, moving to mythological imagery featuring the character Artemis, and culminating with game footage projected onto a wall before showing the game package impaled on a sword. The text mentions Namco's unique approach for their Mega Drive CMS. Next is Burning Force, detailing its CM sequence, which includes scenes of the protagonist in a cockpit, outdoor shots, and various cuts of the game's distinct 3D-like graphics, ending with the game's packaging. Finally, the Game Gear section highlights its comparative CMS, featuring people enjoying the handheld console, demonstrating its features like the TV tuner accessory, and showing glimpses of early games like Columns and Pengos. This part notes the unique advertising approach for the Game Gear in Japan. Accompanying the CM analysis are CM Roundtable Talks, offering behind-the-scenes insights into the production of these commercials, discussing filming locations, casting, and challenges faced during shooting, particularly the weather issues encountered during the Burning Force shoot on Miyakojima Island. The Game Gear segment mentions the use of actor improvisation in the CM. It's a fascinating look at how these classic games were marketed. This page introduces the action game Echo the Dolphin for the Genesis, a unique title that was a hit in America and slated for a July release in Japan. The Japanese version was adjusted to lower the difficulty and appeal more broadly to Japanese users. The game stars Echo, a young dolphin searching for his lost family, exploring the vast ocean. The main goal is to navigate the underwater world, avoid enemies, and gather information by talking to other sea creatures. The ecological theme and the ocean setting make this a fresh gaming experience. Screenshots show Echo swimming gracefully, interacting with crystals which act as keys, a map view activated by sonars, and encounters with creatures like octopuses. The reviewer highlights the smooth movement and the freedom of exploring the ocean as the game's greatest appeal, noting that everyone has probably wished to swim freely like a dolphin at some point, and this game fulfills that wish in a small way. The page also explains key mechanics, like using sonar to see the map or interact with objects, and talking to other dolphins using sonic waves. It confirms this coverage is based on the Japanese version. This page introduces Capcom's latest fighting action game, The Punisher, presented in a spotlight corner from the B-Mega AM network. The game highlights continuous, exhilarating action that's hard to stop once you start. The story begins with Frank Castle and his family on a picnic, which is tragically interrupted by a mysterious criminal organization that murders his family. Fueled by revenge, he becomes the Punisher, relentlessly pursuing this shadowy group. He is joined by Nick Fury, the commander of the International Intelligence Agency SHIELD, who encounters the Punisher during his investigation of the same criminal organization and decides to act alongside him, seeking peace for the world. The main villain is the Kingpin, whose real name is Wilson Fisk. He leads a vast criminal empire based in New York, dominating the underworld across America. He is responsible for countless murders, and no one who has seen his face has returned alive from his headquarters. The gameplay involves using deadly martial arts skills acquired during the Punisher's time as a U.S. Marine to defeat enemies one after another. Players can also disarm enemies and use their weapons. Firearms have automatic aiming and unlimited ammo, providing a satisfying experience. The game offers plenty of action, with various bosses and unique enemies like Icarus appearing throughout. Screenshots show the classic beat-em-up gameplay, with the Punisher and Nick Fury fighting thugs in various environments, using different weapons, and encountering larger enemies. This page features a special report from the BeepMD editorial department, covering a late-night Sega-sponsored television show called Denko Soko Nuke Dasenzuge. The article describes the show as a new and exciting late-night variety program where cute girls challenge intense games. It highlights the show's concept of adding high-tech elements to the fundamental fun of moving your body. The show is hosted by Masaki Kiyomoto and Fumi Hosokawa, who is featured in a special pinup section. The article praises Fumi Hosokawa and other female participants who challenge the games, describing the show's appeal with a healthy, sexy theme. It points out the Denko girls and the off-track and offline team, who are central to the game challenges. The show also features looks at new Sega games, and an interview with host Masaki Kiyomoto touches on his enthusiasm for the physically demanding nature of the show. There's also a promotion offering signed papers from the hosts as a special gift for readers. The show airs on Nippon TV late night on Thursdays. This page features news and events from the world of Sega. The main article covers the production of Egawa Suguru's Super League CD for Mega CD. It highlights the involvement of famous baseball player Egawa Suguru himself, who visited Sega to participate in the video capture for the game. Development is progressing well, making use of the Mega CD's capacity for a unique baseball experience. Screenshots showcase the game's interface and player statistics, along with a quote from Mr. Sugiura. There's also a chance for readers to win a signed baseball from Egawa. The page also reports on a promotional event for the release of Switch and the Mega Drive 2 console. This bizarre street event featured the comedy troupe Wahaha Honpo, and included public performances and game tournaments in Ginza and Akihabara. Finally, a guidebook for Switch is announced, offering strategies and insights into the game. This page features a variety of news and events from the world of Sega and beyond. There's a spotlight on the newly opened Sega Carnival House at Hakejima Sea Paradise, an indoor theme park area featuring attractions like the impressive 8-player competitive racing game, Virtua Formula. The images show the vibrant interior and the race car-style cabinets. In other news, a Puyo Puyo tournament saw magazine teams competing, with the BeepMD team making an appearance. Enix's Game School hosted a special lecture by President Takahashi, where he discussed game creation and showed what appears to be a screenshot from Shining Force 2. Sega also held an event promoting J-League Pro Striker, including a large giveaway. For hardware enthusiasts, a new video unit for the Mega Drive 2, the Mega SO1, is announced for release via mail order, promising improved video quality. Finally, the new release section covers various crids and videos, including music from artists like Hiroko Moriguchi, and releases related to game series like a Super Real Mahjong PV, and a video for Fatal Fury 2. It's a diverse look at Sega's presence in arcades, events, hardware, and the broader entertainment market. The Victor Wonder Mega RGM2, a new Mega Drive and Mega CD multi-amusement player, launches July 2nd for 59,800 yen, a significant upgrade from previous models. It features a groundbreaking wireless 6-button controller, eliminating the need for a cord. This controller, engineered for precision and responsiveness, also acts as a versatile remote for various functions, including CD playback and TV control. The console itself boasts a sleek design, improved aesthetics, and retains high-performance features like karaoke and a quality DAC. While MIDI is absent, the wireless controller and overall design highlight the console as a noteworthy advancement. A corded controller is also available separately. This page delves into the Victor Wonder Mega RGM2, positioning it as a casual and versatile multi-entertainment machine. The article highlights its significantly more compact size compared to the previous model, featuring a top-loading CD drive, visible here with what looks like the disc for Lunar, the Silver Star. Design improvements include a simple manual CD lid and relocating connectors to the rear and side for better usability. These include video out, standard composite video, audio, and dual microphone inputs, though it's noted that the MIDI port from the RGM one is absent. The console also features a new startup screen that goes straight into a CD player interface when a disc is inserted. Detailed specifications are provided, including CPU, CD drive tech, robust karaoke functions, various I/O ports, dimensions, weight, and the price of 59,800 yen. The page also confirms that the previous RGM-1 model, known for its digital audio processor and MIDI, will continue to be sold alongside the M2 as a higher-end option appealing to music fans. Lastly, the Wonder Library decoder cartridge is introduced. This summer release, priced at 9,900 yen, allows Wonder Mega and other Mega Drive/Mega CD consoles to run 8cm CD electronic publishing software, such as dictionaries and language guides, expanding the system's utility beyond just gaming. This page features a preview of the upcoming Mega Drive title, McDonald's Treasureland Adventure, developed by Treasure, the same studio behind the critically acclaimed Gunstar Heroes. The article highlights that this is their second game and puts Ronald McDonald in the starring role on a quest for treasure, with other McDonald's characters also making appearances. The preview emphasizes the game's detailed production, impressive graphics, and high quality, suggesting it might even surpass Sega's own Mickey Mouse titles. Screenshots show Ronald exploring various environments, hinting at platforming and action gameplay. The article promises a game accessible to younger players, but also engaging for experienced gamers. A section features the production staff, many of whom worked on Gunstar Heroes, discussing the development challenges on the Mega Drive, adapting to the specific character designs, and expressing confidence that the game is a worthwhile purchase enjoyable for everyone. Key details mentioned are a planned September release, a price of 6,800 yen, and that it's an action game on an 8MB cartridge. The staff comments underscore their effort in creating a unique and high-quality experience, despite hardware limitations, and the need to adhere to the McDonald's brand image. This page continues the preview of McDonald's Treasureland Adventure, providing a closer look at the gameplay and early stages. It highlights Ronald McDonald's basic actions, which involve using his scarf to swing and navigate obstacles, and employing magic attacks to deal with enemies. The article notes the vibrant visuals of the first stage, the magical forest, which even features a dynamic transition from day to night, with environmental changes and enemy transformations. Players aren't alone, as familiar McDonald's characters like Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar make appearances and assist Ronald. The game also offers breaks from the main action with minigames, including a shop where players can spend accumulated gold on items, and a puzzle game that yields special rewards. The first boss, known as Mikarin, a seemingly tomato-like creature, and its junior versions, are introduced, suggesting a multi-part or multi-phase encounter. Subsequent stages like Magical Town feature unique environments such as a rocking train and mirror-based puzzles, while Stage 3, the Magical Sea, presents challenges like navigating stepping stones across the water. The overall impression is a varied and visually engaging platformer, packed with different mechanics and level designs. This page features a look at Konami's fourth title for the Mega CD, which is none other than the popular arcade shooting game, Lethal Enforcers. The big draw here is the promise of a perfect arcade port coming to home consoles. The article highlights the fact that it will even come with a dedicated light gun, aiming to replicate the authentic arcade experience. Visually, the page prominently features an arcade cabinet of Lethal Enforcers, alongside screenshots showing various levels from the game, including a Chinatown street, a bank robbery, a train hijacking, and a chemical plant sabotage. There's also a brief column discussing the appeal of shooting games, and mentioning Lethal Enforcers as a current arcade hit. The overall message is clear. If you love the arcade game, get ready to experience it just as it is on your Mega CD. This page continues the look at Lethal Enforcers for the Mega CD. It directly compares the Mega CD port, shown with various screenshots like the airport, bank, and subway scenes, against the arcade version. The article confirms this is a complete and faithful port, acknowledging some slight visual differences but highlighting how impressive the transition is. Gameplay details are discussed, including support for 2 players simultaneously. Players use the light gun to shoot terrorists and gangsters, with weapons that can be upgraded from a standard revolver to a shotgun or rifle. Reloading is simple, requiring the player to point the gun off-screen. Shooting civilians results in a penalty. The article also confirms the inclusion of a dedicated light gun with the home release. It's noted that the peripheral will maintain the same shape and size as the arcade gun, with only the cable material changing. The price is expected to be reasonable. Finally, there is a brief interview segment with the development staff behind the port. They discuss the decision to port the game due to its worldwide success and technical compatibility with the Mega CD, the quality of the live performance music, and the effort made to preserve the unique feel of the arcade controls. This page features a special report on record of Lodos War for the Sega Mega CD, announced for a March 1994 release. The article highlights that the game fully incorporates elements expected from the series, offering a deep experience. It previews the game's large-scale tactical combat system, featuring battlefields spanning up to 4 screens, a significant improvement over previous versions, increasing strategic depth, akin to simulation RPGs. The growth system introduces a new concept of skills, with approximately 90 different types, some character-specific, allowing for personalized character development. Screenshots showcase the tactical map view, a dungeon perspective, character status displays with stats and commands, including skills, and a dialogue scene featuring prominent characters like Parn and Deedlit. The article also confirms the appearance of original characters from the series, emphasizing the game's commitment to the source material. The report promises further details in future issues. This page features a special report announcing the game adaptation of the highly popular manga Yu Yu Hakusho Gaiden, coming to the Sega Mega Drive. Set for a December release with the price yet to be determined, this game is confirmed as a 16 megabit, one-player adventure title. The article highlights that this is a follow-up to information shared in the previous issue, expressing high anticipation for Sega's interpretation of the series. The game promises a dramatic experience, with an original story that is not found in the manga, alongside the familiar cast of characters. Key characters like Yusuke Urameshi, Kazuma Kuwabara, Kurama Hiei, and others such as Koenma, Genkai, Botan, Kaiko, younger Toguro, and Yukina are shown and briefly described. Gameplay will blend adventure scenes with powerful battle action. Screenshots demonstrate dialogue sequences from the adventure portion and dynamic combat visuals, featuring special attacks like Yusuke's spirit gun. The graphics are noted as being faithful to the original artwork, and the article expresses excitement for the depiction of combat and anticipated animation quality. This original story and blend of adventure and battle action aim to deliver a unique experience that surpasses typical adventure game expectations. Street Fighter II - for the Sega Mega Drive has been delayed, with no new release date announced. A beginner's guide offers advice on character selection. Beginner-friendly characters like Vega and Guile are recommended for their powerful, easy-to-execute moves. Intermediate characters like Ryu and Ken, while iconic, require practice. Advanced characters like Dalsim and M. Bison present a greater challenge. The guide includes descriptions and screenshots of all 12 fighters. This page presents a basic strategy guide for Street Fighter II - on the Mega Drive, aimed at helping beginners improve their gameplay. It covers fundamental tactics vital for success, especially in versus matches. The guide details effective offensive techniques, such as jump-in attacks, demonstrating how to knock down an opponent like Balrog, with a jump followed by a sweep. It also explains rush applications, including the tactic of throwing an opponent like E Honda immediately after they block a jump-in attack, and executing potent combos like a sweep followed by a special move such as Dryu's Hadoken or Shoryuken. Defensively, the guide highlights the importance of throw reversals, showing Zangief reversing an opponent while getting up. A particularly tricky technique covered is the cross-up attack, illustrated by Zangief jumping over Dalsim. This move reverses the attack's hit detection, forcing opponents to guard in the opposite direction, making it difficult to defend. The guide even notes that some characters like Zangief and Blanca are easier to cross up, while others like Chun-Li and Vega are more challenging targets. The page emphasizes mastering these core techniques as they are highly effective and often frustrating for opponents to deal with, especially in player versus player combat. This page provides a detailed guide on how to execute special moves in Street Fighter II - specifically for players who find them difficult to perform. It breaks down the different types of special moves into categories. Command inputs like Ryu and Ken's Hadoken and Shoryuken, explaining the directional movements. Charge moves represented by Guile's Sonic Boom and Somersault Kick, emphasizing the necessary holding time for directions, and rapid button pressing moves such as E-Honda's 100 hand slap or Chun-Li's 100 foot slap. The guide also tackles the most challenging special moves, highlighting Zangief's screw pile driver as the most difficult but rewarding to land. It illustrates different methods for performing the screw pile driver, including after a jump or a sweep, and a standing version requiring a full circle input. Finally, it briefly touches upon advanced techniques like move canceling, showing an example of canceling an uppercut into a Hadoken with Ken or Ryu. The page uses diagrams and screenshots featuring characters like Ryu, Ken, Guile, E-Honda, Chun-Li, and Zangief to visually explain the inputs and timing required. The tone is encouraging, aiming to help players master these essential techniques. This page delves further into Street Fighter II Championship Edition for the Mega Drive, focusing on character matchups and the status of the game's release. It features a breakdown of character advantages and disadvantages based on the arcade version, noting that while M. Bison is likely the strongest overall, specific matchups make ranking others complex, citing examples like Ken's performance against different fighters. The magazine addresses the delayed, in-depth feature on the game, explaining that the Mega Drive release date is still pending and their current sample version isn't final, making detailed strategy guides premature as game balance could change. They encourage readers to practice the arcade version while waiting. The page includes reader comments expressing anticipation and disappointment about the delay, with some mentioning the PC Engine and upcoming Super Famicom hyperfighting versions. Finally, there's a call for readers to send in postcards and illustrations to help promote the Mega Drive release, with a chance to win prizes. This page kicks off a new release scramble section, highlighting upcoming Mega Drive titles. It features Konami's Castlevania Bloodlines, referred to by its Japanese title, introducing the new protagonists Eric Lecard and John Morris, and noting the game's expanded scale and shift in time period to the early 20th century. Screenshots show off the game's detailed environments and action. The page also previews Aka Harimanada, a sumo fighting game from Sega based on a popular manga. It describes the game as a fighting title, where players control sumo wrestlers from the manga, each with their own special moves, promising exaggerated, manga-style action. Screenshots showcase the sumo ring, character portraits, and gameplay. A quick list on the side mentions other titles like Battlemania 2 and Panorama Cotton that are also on the horizon. This page continues the new release scramble, showcasing more upcoming Sega Mega Drive titles. First up is Gauntlet, presented as a Mega Drive original featuring a new quest mode that adds story elements absent from the arcade version, boosting its replayability. This action RPG includes an experience system and involves exploring towers and a castle across 10 floors, as seen in the screenshots. Next is Battlemania Daiginju, now confirmed as the official title for what was previously called Battlemania 2. This vertical shooter promises plenty of action, with increased capacity, allowing for numerous enemies. Screenshots show gameplay and character designs for this one-player title. Finally, there's Panorama Cotton, a highly anticipated shooter aiming for an autumn release. It's described as a 3D-type shooter, with a strong visual style reminiscent of the arcade Cotton game. The demo footage is highlighted as promising, with screenshots displaying the unique perspective and vibrant graphics featuring characters like Cotton and Silk. Sega's new release scramble page highlights several upcoming games. MiG-29, a 50% complete flight sim, emphasizes air-to-air combat and carrier landings. Davis Cup Tennis, also at 50%, supports 2-player versus play and 32 professional players. Blastermaster, Metafight/Blastermaster 2, 80% complete, brings vehicle gameplay to the Mega Drive. Marble Madness, finished, offers 2-player arcade action with complex levels. The Overflow information section details other projects, including a return to cartridge releases. Columns 2i, Party Quiz Mega Q, J-League Pro Striker, Simurth, The Terminator, and Dino Brothers 2 are also noted, along with a serious Mahjong simulation. Mahjong, King Dragon Entrance. This page features Beeple Land, a section for reader contributions. The main topic is this month's debate. This should be ported to the MD, where readers share their wishes for games they'd like to see brought to the Mega Drive. Readers express desires for various titles. One requests a SimCity-style game set in Tokyo, noting that Simurth is already available, as mentioned on the previous page, but SimCity is needed. Other popular arcade requests include the action game Wolffang and the charming Legend of Valkyrie, with a reader specifically hoping for a two-player mode in the latter's port. Capcom's UN Squadron is another strong contender, with a reader wanting a complete port. Classic shooting fans also suggest Gradius 2. Finally, a reader hopes for a port of a Fist of the North Star fighting game, ideally a comprehensive release combining different versions. The page also briefly celebrates a significant milestone. The Mega Drive has sold over 1 million units. A small note at the bottom mentions the diversity of reader opinions, including requests for ports of classic PC and arcade titles. This page features the BeepMD User's Voice section, providing a platform for readers to share their unleashed thoughts on the game industry and their beloved Mega Drive. Continuing the theme of user feedback, this segment includes various opinions and requests. Readers voice desires for specific game types, such as a compilation of classic board games like Backgammon and Othello. There are also passionate discussions about the industry itself, with frustrations expressed regarding game release dates and pricing strategies, citing the planned Mega Drive release of Fatal Fury 2 as an example of confusing timing after investing in the hardware. Users emphasize their role in supporting the Mega Drive market and call for the platform's strengths to be better promoted. The page is also adorned with reader-submitted artwork, including fan art related to the Super Shinobi 2, a contribution seemingly related to Kyo Flying Squadron, and an illustration featuring a character from Puyo Puyo. Small notes at the bottom touch on diverse topics, from a humorous comment about the bizarre UFO Yakisoban CM to a mention of the 6-button control pad. This page continues the BeepMD User's Voice section, featuring direct comments from Sega in response to passionate reader feedback. Titled, Sega-san's comments have arrived. The highlight is Sega addressing the strong desire among fans for a Phantasy Star game on the Mega Drive. Readers express enthusiasm for the series, recounting experiences with the original Phantasy Star on the Mark II's, and urging Sega to release a Mega Drive version, noting the potential for success. Some also ask about the possibility of remakes and inquire about battery replacement services for the Mark II game carts. Sega acknowledges the overwhelming support and love for the Phantasy Star series, stating they are listening to fan voices regarding remakes and other requests. They confirm they are working diligently on Phantasy Star IV, aiming for it to be a representative title for the series. They also provide contact information for their customer service center for Mark II battery replacements. The message from Sega's marketing department suggests they understand the depth of fan wishes and hope to fulfill them. The page also includes various reader-submitted illustrations and brief comments, touching on personal game purchases and experiences, adding to the vibrant community feel of the section. A screenshot from the original Phantasy Star is prominently displayed alongside the main text. This page continues the lively BeepMD section, filled with passionate contributions from Mega Drive fans, known here as Mega Drivers. Readers share their experiences, from dressing up as Sonic and Tails to debating game mechanics like body sensation titles and fighting games. There's a clear call for reader participation in the Mega Drive Rumors, Seeking the Truth segment, encouraging submissions about any whispers or secrets surrounding Sega's powerhouse console. The page also features a junk present giveaway, this time offering some rather peculiar large goggles alongside other prizes. Fans are invited to connect in the Let's Exchange Letters section, specifically appealing to those who love Sonic the Hedgehog and own a Mega CD. Curiously, there's also a section titled Sonic's Side Job Discovery, which appears to be a part-time job announcement for manufacturing and packaging, strangely mentioning components for Super Famicom and Game Boy alongside Sega items. The overall vibe is one of a dedicated, active community, deeply engaged with the Mega Drive and its ecosystem. This page continues the community-driven BeepMD section, kicking off with a major scoop revealing that Marin from the famous Japanese electronic music group Denki Groove was involved in the music production for the Mega Drive/Genesis port of Galaxy Force 2. An accompanying screenshot from the game's ending credits shows his real name, Yoshitoku Sunahara, listed under sound data. The page features an interview, or Q, and a section where Marin discusses his involvement, explaining it was done while working part-time for a software company that handled ports. He reflects on the experience and the difference between arcade and home console sound. There's also a brief introduction to the band Denki Groove themselves. Further into the page, the Utago Hiroba section presents lyrics submitted by readers, featuring themes like the opening from the classic anime getter Robo and the opening from the PC Engine game Silky Lip. The user's voice segment provides a platform for Mega Drive/Genesis fans to share their thoughts and opinions, touching upon subjects like the Sega Game Gear's recent success and general feedback on the console. Rounding out the section are various mini-quarters for reader submissions, including illustrations and the ongoing MD-kun 4-panel manga strip. A correction notice regarding a previous article and the address for sending in submissions and feedback are also included, along with a brief mention of winners for reader presents. This page dives into a special edition of Taguchi's Fighting Game Dojo, featuring a close-up interview with Master Taguchi. The conversation between Taguchi Takeuchi and the editor is informal, touching on a surprise photo used in the magazine, the hope that it attracts more fans, and reflecting on changes within the editorial department. Significantly, they discuss Takeuchi's involvement in composing music for Galaxy Force 2, directly referencing the game mentioned on the previous page, and acknowledging that Takeuchi was the one who initiated the project. The talk also shifts to fighting games, specifically Street Fighter II, where they mention a personal best time of 1 minute 29 seconds for defeating M. Bison, Vega in the Japanese version, in trial mode. They also make a humorous reference to the game's soundtrack composer, Coopland, and joke about Sonyland in relation to Sonic. Elsewhere on the page, reader submissions offer amusing takes on life choices and challenges, presented as short, handwritten messages. A prominent photo captures Takeuchi making a funny face while holding a keyboard, with a speech bubble urging readers to buy the soundtrack CD for Landstalker. This page kicks off with Hiroyuki Takahashi wants to make the industry more interesting, where the director expresses relief as the scenario for Shining Force 2 is nearing completion after a difficult development period. He talks about the challenges of game creation and the importance of overcoming obstacles. Takahashi also mentions the studio is hiring new graphic artists and encourages aspiring creators to submit their work. Photos in this section show the company president and staff at work, including one person seemingly playing Outrunners while on a phone call, suggesting it's part of the job. Below, the Unfortunate Self section delves into the tough experiences of a new graphic artist, hinting at struggles with low pay and the harsh realities of the industry, tempered with hope for the future. The Sonic News Mania section announces the upcoming release of Shining Force Gaiden 2, Sword of Haja for the Game Gear, promising a cast of captivating characters. This segment also showcases fan art submissions for the Shining Force series. Finally, Hanako's OL Diary offers a humorous, personal take on daily life from the perspective of a working woman named Hanako Okada, covering mundane frustrations like dealing with salespeople in the heat, with accompanying charming cartoon illustrations. This page features the Treasure Factory, highlighting projects from the developer Treasure. The first major section celebrates the completion of McDonald's Treasure Land Adventure, a huge collaboration between McDonald's, Sega, and Treasure. The article conveys the excitement surrounding this game's launch, described as an incredible project kept under strict secrecy since Treasure's founding. Superplanner Kai Fuichi expresses his strong vision for the game, aiming for high quality without limiting the audience. A screenshot shows the platforming gameplay, and a photo features Mr. Fuichi himself. Below this, the Gunstar Heroes Behind-the-Scenes Story Volume 2 delves into the challenging development of the game's iconic boss, 7 Force. This segment, told from the programmer's perspective, recounts the struggle to animate the boss's multiple transformations and movements realistically. Despite the difficulty, inspired by various sources, the programmer pushed through, describing the intense, often tearful process. Manga panels illustrate the stress and humor of development, and a photo shows a development setup with a plush toy. The piece emphasizes the dedication required for programming such complex elements. This page features recurring columns and reader interaction. The industry lecture this month features Nazo Squared Suzuki, discussing his background in game music composition. He talks about the revelation of complex scores in games like Dragon Quest, Gradius, and Castlevania, contrasting it with earlier expectations and the challenges of creating music within game hardware limitations, emphasizing the rich experience involved. In the Otaku's Den Corner, this month's recommendation is the vertical shooter Musha Aleste for the Mega Drive. The reviewer hails this compile title as a masterpiece, praising its intense visuals, explosive action, and comparing its quality to classics like Xevious and Gyrodine, highlighting its unique appeal beyond just the shooting mechanics. Adjacent is a small comic strip humorously depicting the cycle of playing Gunstar Heroes, eating, and the hard work of game development. Further right, in Minako's backstage essay, she recounts her experience at a Gunstar Heroes attraction, describing the gameplay, rules for the ride, and thanking the staff, including Kai Fuichi from Treasure. Finally, the editor's postscript announces the official reveal of McDonald's Treasureland Adventure, a game he's excited about, praising team leader Kai Fuichi and the game's positive reception. The postcard's arriving section encourages readers to send feedback, particularly if they got to play Gunstar Heroes early at a toy show. This page features contributions from Sega Mega Drive third-party developers. The Magazine Jack Mega Drive third-party Do What You Want section includes features from GameArts and Sims Corporation. GameArts discusses their upcoming Mega CD title, Sylphid. They express excitement about the game's heavy use of polygons and the intense, exhilarating feeling of speed. They compare the experience of dodging debris and sudden direction changes to a roller coaster, emphasizing the visual spectacle and the need to see it to believe it. They mention the game demo is available in shops and note a slight delay in the release date. Overall, they declare Sylphid the standard for 3D shooting games. The Sims section, titled What If?, recounts some rather strange and humorous incidents that occurred during the development of their games, specifically mentioning Devil Buster and Shin Megami Tensei. They talk about a programmer getting sick and finding a large centipede, and other bizarre occurrences. Despite these setbacks, which even led the Shin Megami Tensei team to consider an exorcism, development is progressing. They end with a comical drawing and the sign-off, Leto. This page features the 10th installment of the Developer Corner, this time highlighting Human Entertainment and Riot. Human Entertainment discusses their first shooting game for the Mega Drive, Valis IV, referred to here as Bari Ramu. The author, Kumakichi, emphasizes that this title was developed by staff who are passionate Mega Drive fans, understanding the hardware deeply. They highlight the game's powerful presentation and a particularly cool opening demo, accompanied by screenshots showcasing mechs and in-game action. The Riot section announces the imminent release of 2 titles, A Rank Thunder, which was released on June 25th, and Cyborg 009, confirmed for release in July. This marks Riot's return to the Mega CD after a year, following their previous title, Magical Girl Silky Lip, which is noted as a hidden masterpiece. The section title is taken from the theme song of Cyborg 009. They also include a quiz for readers, asking to identify a developer in a photo, and the secret weapon of a Cyborg 009 figure. Correct answers and feedback on the games could win prizes, like an autograph board and a phone card. This page is a mail-order catalog from the Sega specialty store Santa, listing Sega Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear games and hardware with prices and ordering information. This page dives into Phantasy Star IV, showcasing its development status at 55% completion. The focus is on the planet Motavia, specifically introducing 3 distinct villages and the intriguing dungeon designs. The text expresses anticipation for the complexity of the dungeons. Screenshots provide glimpses of the area around Zima, the village of Mile, and the village of Krupp, highlighting varied environments from sandy plains to lush oases and riverbanks. The page also reveals a new character joining the adventure, a seemingly gentle girl named Frenna, who is described as being a robust android. The magazine seems excited about the game's progress and the depth being shown in its world and characters. This page introduces the upcoming RPG, Surging Aura, currently at 30% completion and single-player only. The focus is squarely on the game's standout feature, the spell casting system. The article explains that this system displays magic spells on screen in real time, with casting times varying based on the spell's power. Players can react to these on-screen cues, adding a strategic layer to combat. This innovative system is described as being akin to real magic. The page includes a striking main illustration featuring the game's characters by the renowned artist Mutumi Inomata, alongside a small screenshot of a battle scene. There are also 6 sequential concept illustrations titled Practical Magic Chanting Course, which likely depict the process of casting spells or key moments related to the system. The magazine expresses anticipation for seeing more of this system in action in future updates. This page introduces Golden Axe 2i, the highly anticipated third installment in the legendary action series. Unlike previous entries, this game features a completely new cast of 4 playable heroes: Kane Blade, Sarah Barn, Proud Kragger, and Kronos Liate. Each character brings unique abilities and magic, adding significant depth to the gameplay. The article highlights cooperative play, emphasizing that teaming up unlocks powerful combined techniques and magic spells, making the experience much more enjoyable. The game promises a high degree of freedom and challenge, with tougher enemies and new mechanics like attacking distant opponents. The screenshots showcase the diverse action, including intense combat, riding various mounts, navigating branching paths on the map, and facing off against the formidable forces of the new Demon King, DAMD equals Hells. Learning how to handle the varied combat situations is crucial, as even seemingly simple actions like beating up thieves for magic pots or choosing the right path can impact the game. The developers stress that the combined magic system, achieved by characters cooperating, is a major highlight, offering a wide array of spectacular spells. This page dives deep into the high-flying action of Rocket Knight Adventures, showcasing the thrilling journey of Sparkster. It highlights the intense efforts by Konami's development team to bring this unique platformer to life. The article focuses on stages 3 through 5, giving players a taste of the challenges ahead without spoiling everything. We see screenshots of Sparkster battling various foes, utilizing his rocket pack to navigate treacherous environments like lava caves and aquatic areas filled with spikes and tricky platforms. The text emphasizes the game's difficulty, particularly in Stage 3, requiring players to master Sparkster's movement and combat skills. It introduces key boss encounters, including a menacing crab-like mid-boss and a massive, imposing final boss machine designed specifically for underwater combat. The goal is clear: rescue the kidnapped princess and confront the invading pig army led by the formidable Axel Gear. Successfully navigating the dynamic levels and overcoming these powerful bosses is crucial to Sparkster's quest. This page continues the exciting look at Rocket Knight Adventures, moving into the later stages of Sparkster's quest. Stage 4 takes the action skyward, placing Sparkster on a massive airship as he chases after the elusive Axel Gear. You'll navigate the ship's exterior, battling enemies while dealing with tricky platforming and a challenging mid-boss. The goal is to finally reach the cockpit where the kidnapped princess is held captive. The journey then continues in Stage 5, where you escape the falling airship and pursue Axel Gear to the enemy's main base. This stage throws intense challenges your way, including dodging giant missiles and facing off against pig soldiers piloting powerful mechs. It's a frantic push through enemy lines, leading ultimately to a final confrontation with your nemesis, Axel Gear, deep within his stronghold. The page also includes a small quiz, asking players if they recognize a specific mech enemy encountered in the game. Finally, there's a brief note from the developers announcing a promotional campaign for original goods related to the game's release. The next page dives deep into the upcoming action title, Gunstar Heroes. The magazine is incredibly excited, questioning if it's even allowed to get this hyped in the middle stages of the game. They boast that even aliens would be shocked by the sheer density and quality of the gameplay presented. The preview shows the game is nearly complete at 90%, features 2-player simultaneous play, and is set for a September release. The article highlights the developers' impressive programming and direction, noting that unlike many games, Gunstar Heroes doesn't lose steam towards the end, but keeps the excitement high. Stages 3 and 4 are showcased as prime examples of this density. Stage 3 takes you to a giant airborne battleship to reclaim a mysterious stone, featuring relentless enemies and a chase after the captain. This stage also introduces the bizarre but memorable swapping leg boss. Stage 4 introduces G.I. Orange, one of the 4 generals and the battleship's captain, along with the return of Smash Daisaku, Smash Daddy, with updated moves. The screenshots show dynamic sections, including intense aerial combat and platforms that sway wildly, promising a truly immersive and challenging experience. The magazine makes it clear that Gunstar Heroes is shaping up to be a standout title. This page continues the deep dive into Gunstar Heroes, focusing on the incredible density and unique mechanics found in Stage 4. The magazine highlights General Black's Dice Palace, a fortress packed with a remarkable 14 different types of challenges and encounters, a testament to the game's incredibly high production value even at this later stage. Stage 4 itself is depicted as infiltrating this elaborate fortress after fighting through the initial lines. The core mechanic is presented as a family Sugoroku, or board game, where players navigate spaces that trigger various events, like battles, item pickups, or setbacks. Screenshots showcase this board game interface alongside the actual gameplay encounters. Several bizarre and memorable bosses and characters are introduced, including Valvalion, a dazzling mechanical golden dragon, a constantly smiling squishy gel enemy, and a truly weird boss featuring giant eyeballs and a sniffing nose that moves like a dog. A flexible, multi-jointed Whiplash character is also shown. The developers offer a brief, quirky comment mentioning aliens, a face dog named Melonpan, and dreams, adding to the game's eccentric charm. They state, Gunstar Heroes loves aliens, ending on a lighthearted note.
The article emphasizes the game's appeal to a wide age range and its robust 12-player co-op experience.
The Super Shinobi 2, a Sega game releasing July 23 for 6,800 yen, is a significant upgrade to the original, featuring enhanced graphics and a massively expanded action set. Protagonist Joe Musashi now performs dash slashes, jump kicks, and triangle jumps, alongside his existing 4 ninjutsu types. The game world boasts diverse environments, like caves and plains, filled with a variety of human and non-human enemies, including the flute-playing Kiyomusu monks. Players can ride and attack from horseback, and hidden items like shurikens and power-ups are scattered throughout the levels. The developers are excited about the increased action and overall enhanced gameplay experience. This page features a strategy guide for the Sega CD-RPG 3x3 Eyes, released by Sega on July 23 for 8,800 yen. This is part 1 of a special bound-in appendix focusing on gameplay strategy. The guide aims to be useful for both fans of the original manga/anime by Yuzo Takada and newcomers, covering the game's story progression with notes on differences from the source material. Part 1 of the guide covers the initial segment of the game, starting from the protagonist's adventures in Hong Kong, returning to Tokyo, and reaching the point where they defeat a demon at the high school. Although this is just the beginning of the story, it encompasses a significant amount of gameplay content. The guide promises to help players navigate difficult events with one-point advice, and includes maps for tricky dungeons, ensuring players can effectively use the guide for their journey. The page features character illustrations of Pei and Hajime, as well as a small screenshot showing gameplay. This page presents character profiles for the Sega CD-RPG 3x3 Eyes, detailing the main companions who join Pai and Yakumo. It introduces Pai, the immortal Sanjian Unkara seeking humanity, and Yakumo, her human companion turned Wu. The page also highlights crucial allies, such as journalist Ling Ling, martial artist Mexing Long, and psychic Steve Long, briefly touching upon their unique skills and roles in the adventure. Gameplay screenshots show combat with party members utilizing their abilities.
This page dives into the essential items and spells needed for adventure in 3x3 Eyes. It serves as a crucial guide, emphasizing the importance of preparation. The page lists various restorative and utility items like medicines for HP and MP recovery, and tools offering stat boosts or teleportation, noting that some items have effects equivalent to certain spells. A screenshot shows Yakumo engaging in combat, casting a fire spell on an enemy. The core of the page is dedicated to a comprehensive breakdown of the game's spell system, categorized into healing, attack support/defense, and other utility spells. Healing spells restore HP and cure status ailments. Attack spells cover elemental types like fire, ice, lightning/earth, wind, and light, often with different levels of power or target areas. Support and defense spells provide buffs to your party or debuffs to enemies, affecting stats like attack, defense, or speed, or even sealing enemy spells. Utility spells offer convenience, like escaping dungeons or returning to save points. The page also details which characters, including Yakumo, Pai, Sanjian, Steve Long, Guputa, and Har, are capable of learning and using each spell, a key factor in party composition and strategy. Most of the utility spells, for example, are primarily used by Yakumo. Understanding these spells and items is vital for success in the game's battles and exploration. This page provides a detailed walkthrough for the initial part of the Hong Kong chapter in 3x3 Eyes. It outlines the steps players need to take, starting with the search for the editor of Yugekisha, Chen Yali, as per the protagonist Yakumo's father's will. The guide explains that the Yugekisha office is locked, requiring players to gather information from the townsfolk. Upon locating Chen Yali, he quickly escapes. The page introduces Li Xiaoling, who joins the party and becomes crucial for progressing into Kowloon Castle, as a guard initially blocks entry. Once inside Kowloon Castle, the guide points towards the mysterious Nine Dragon Cult
and a strange ghost building as key points of interest related to Chen Yali's whereabouts, suggesting that the cult's activities might be the focus of the editor's investigation. It advises players to thoroughly explore the area and gather information, noting that while infiltrating the cult might be tough, many believers can provide valuable clues. The screenshots show various locations and character interactions central to these early quests. This page details the Kowloon Castle B, one floor in 3x3 eyes, presenting a map and guidance for exploration. The map shows the interconnected areas of the basement level. A key section notes that a door on the upper map area leads to another room, but it's currently locked, making it inaccessible at this point. The guide highlights entering the ghost building as important advice, suggesting that listening carefully to the Nine Dragon cult leader's story and following up on it will lead players there, which is crucial for progression. Another section points out the discovery of an altar in the back of a cave, where it seems someone attempted to hinder the revival of the Demon King again. The map also indicates a hostile yokai, the Kunigami, residing in the far left of the first basement floor, noting that talking to it will trigger a battle. Finally, it mentions that the waterways on the right and left are connected, but are one way from left to right. This page continues the guide for 3x3 eyes, featuring maps of the Kowloon Castle underground floors B2, B3, B4, and B5, giving players visual layouts for these challenging areas. A central section highlights that the Kowloon Castle underground is vast and filled with secrets, including areas currently inaccessible, mysterious magic circles, and treasure chests containing valuable items. The guide urges players to explore thoroughly. Another significant part details the investigation in the Hong Kong shopping street. After defeating a ghost, information is gained about Shun Kai being turned to stone by a demon. This leads to a clue that many stone statues resembling Shun Kai have been transported to Kowloon in Hong Kong Island, prompting the need to investigate there. A one-point advice section explains a crucial step for entering Kowloon: obtaining an introduction letter from someone known to Mr. Wong. The advice suggests inquiring with people on the island to find out how to acquire this letter, implying this is necessary to progress and potentially discover Shun Kai's fate. The screenshots show exploration scenes in the Hong Kong area. This page continues the guide for 3x3 eyes. It details the investigation inside the Wong residence in Hong Kong, where Yakumo and Pai infiltrate using an introduction letter. The objective is to find stone statues, but the owner is absent. Players must gather information by talking to residents, learning about a suspicious locked room, and the strange behavior of the butler, Shu, who is revealed to be a demon. The guide warns that finding the key and progressing through this area is lengthy, and involves moving between different parts of the residence and tower. After defeating Shuhu and locating the statue, no clues are found to turn Pain back into a human. As a result, Yakumo and Pai temporarily return to Tokyo, marking the end of the Hong Kong section and the start of Step 2. Upon returning home, their mansion is discovered to be ransacked. Shortly after, trouble arises at Yakumo's school involving a strange man demanding to see him. Their friend Natsuko is captured by a demon but is rescued with help from Sanjian. However, Natsuko is still controlled and takes Pain, setting up the next challenge. Screenshots show exploration in the mansion, battling Shugu, and the events at the school. This page details the investigation in the Wong residence, return to Tokyo, and the start of the next chapter involving a ransacked home and a possessed classmate who takes Pain. This page continues the guide for 3x3 eyes, detailing the immediate aftermath of Pai's kidnapping by the demon-controlled Natsuko. Distraught, Yakumo returns to his mansion where his guardian, Mama, offers comfort and advice. A one-point advice section highlights the need to find a specific item within the mansion to progress, emphasizing thorough searching. Soon after, Sanjian contacts them, revealing Pai and Natsuko are at the BeepMD building. Yakumo, joined by friends Hideshi and Tatsunori, heads there for a rescue attempt. Screenshots show Yakumo inside the mansion and the exterior of the BeepMD building. Following the events at the mansion's building, Yakumo and Pai return home, but a new clue from Sanjian about the human statue quickly sends them back to Hong Kong. This section includes a screenshot showing the team inside the BeepMD building with a character portrait overlay. A summary section outlines the game's progression, labeling the initial Hong Kong exploration as Step 1 and the return to Tokyo and subsequent events, including heading back to Hong Kong, as Step 2. It notes that Step 2 introduces more frequent enemy encounters and combat becomes more central. This page features a review of the Sega Mega Drive game, James Pond 2. Codename Robocod. The article describes the game as featuring a stretchy hero and highlights its unique appeal. It discusses how to best enjoy the game, commenting on its visual style and level design, which are described as having a notable sense of style. The review also covers the controls and gameplay mechanics, noting that getting used to the chopstick handling, controls, is key. It warns players to be cautious, as the game doesn't offer much in the way of guts or resilience for the player character. Ultimately, the review suggests the best way to play is to simply dive in and experience the game's distinct world. A note from the publisher mentions the game was released on a nationally celebratory day at a special price. The page includes screenshots showing James Pond's, enemies, environments, and the game over screen. This page dives into Powermonger, the ambitious follow-up from Peter Molyneux, the creator of Populous. The game challenges you to conquer a massive continent by expanding your territory against 3 rivals. The world is immense, spanning multiple screens, and you'll fight your way across it section by section. You start with a small force and a limited set of commands, with the ultimate goal of becoming the titular Powermonger, the ruler of all. The game promises significant depth. The page provides a clear guide to the interface. You'll issue commands to your character and soldiers to manage combat, gather food, develop weapons, forge alliances, and trade. Mastering these commands is essential. You can view the overall map with different overlays showing altitude, forests, food, and population density, always knowing your current location. A map compass allows you to zoom and rotate the playfield, making it easier to navigate difficult terrain. The main play screen shows the action unfolding, where you can inspect various areas. Graphs above your commander indicate army size and health. A conquest balance scale constantly shows the power dynamic between you and the enemy on the current map, indicating when victory is near. A real-time message window keeps you informed about events and village details. The guide also briefly introduces key elements: your character as the commander, your soldiers who need to be fed, and sheep as a vital food source. The game is presented as a deep and engaging strategy experience. This page serves as a step-by-step guide to achieving total conquest in Powermonger. It explains the 5 core actions that drive the game, starting with attacking nearby villages and towns to boost your army size and crucial food supply. Next, it details the bizarrely important action of attacking sheep, a vital food source that sustains your troops. The guide then covers making weapons in factories you control, essential for improving your army's combat effectiveness. It also explains how conquering certain towns can yield subgenerals, useful, expendable units. Finally, it describes the ultimate showdown, the final battle against the largest, previously unconquerable town, which, if won, secures your complete victory. A side section introduces Monger Kun, depicting the ruthless nature of the player's character, willing to commit cruel acts for domination. The manufacturer adds a note, emphasizing the game's premise of absolute control over the vast, 195-screen world and the ambition to become a merciless tyrant. This page introduces the Sega Mega Drive game Kishi Densetsu, a World War II tank simulation putting you in command of German tank units. The core gameplay involves issuing orders to your tanks to complete missions, but the exciting part is how the story unfolds. The scenarios you face change based on how well you perform and how little damage your units take. The better you do, the more complex and numerous the subsequent scenarios become. The page showcases examples of various battles, including engagements near Ramud, along the Bzura River, the defense of the Dire River, and operations in the Balkan Peninsula. Each is accompanied by a screenshot showing the top-down view of the battlefield, and mentions the strategic considerations involved. Winning cleanly is important, as the game tracks 2 types of victories based on your casualties. Succeeding with minimal losses is essential for progressing through the best path of scenarios. There are also brief mentions of early war tanks like the Panzer 35T, 38T, and Panzer II, likely units you'll command. The developer emphasizes that the game's central theme is simply fighting to survive. This page features Slapfight, the classic vertically scrolling shoot-'em-up making its way to the Mega Drive. The article dives into the game's core appeal, highlighting that even as times change, good gameplay remains key. It breaks down the 2 main modes, the faithful original mode and the redesigned arrange mode. For original mode, there's a detailed stage guide, marking key points and boss encounters across the game's progression, spanning Area 10 all the way to the final boss at Area 80. You get tactical hints for each section, like mastering ship handling, or knowing which weapons are best for specific bosses. The arrange mode is mentioned as having a different flow, with enemy and terrain layouts changing every 10 areas, encouraging players to adapt their strategy and weapon choices. An interesting section reveals hidden elements that aid your playthrough. By using specific weapons, shot on an invader, laser on a tropical flower that grows as you attack it, and H.miss on a hidden panel, you can reveal bonus characters or items, emphasizing the strategic importance of weapon selection beyond just destroying enemies. Finally, there's a message from the developers expressing their anticipation for the Mega Drive version's release, particularly noting the special mode unique to this port, inviting players to jump into the intense action.
This page is all about Eliminate Down, a horizontal scrolling shooter on the Mega Drive. The article expresses excitement for the game, highlighting its intense shooting action. It notes that while it might look less flashy than some other shooters at first glance, the fun comes from mastering the 3 distinct shot types the playership possesses. The different weapon variations are detailed, showing how the standard forward shot, side shots, and rear shots can be powered up. There are also power-up items, including one that upgrades the shot and another that provides a barrier. A key feature discussed is how the battlefield conditions dramatically change throughout the game, switching between environments like space battles, atmospheric entry, and fights near planets, keeping the gameplay fresh. The reviewer also points out the cool demo sequence and the challenging boss designs, emphasizing that they require strategic pattern recognition. Interestingly, the round select is done through a unique minigame, where you hit panels on a grid to determine which stage you'll play. The developers mention the game features impressive graphics and grotesque enemy characters, recommending the easy mode for beginners. This page focuses on the golf game, Top Pro Golf 2, the sequel to the original. It's back with more content and fun, featuring 2 full 18-hole courses set in Japan and the USA, making a total of 36 holes. The game boasts simplified controls, making it accessible for everyone. It supports up to 4 players for simultaneous enjoyment, and offers 4 distinct game modes: tournament play, match play, handicap match play, and stroke play, catering to different play styles. The article highlights the variety of 15 different CPU opponents you can face, each with their own parameters, adding depth to the single-player experience. The developers mention it's a definitive version, with increased hole count and more detailed greens, promising great fun when playing with friends. This page features the action platformer Cool Spot. The article notes the game's unique premise, highlighting that the character's signature yo-yo is not used as a weapon, instead focusing on jumping and shooting mechanics. The reviewer praises the game's impressive graphics and music quality, common in Western-developed titles of the era, finding the pure action gameplay highly enjoyable. They specifically mention how fun it is just watching the characters' comical movements. Gameplay involves collecting red chips scattered throughout the levels, and ultimately finding and rescuing imprisoned friends to clear stages. Spot can shoot in 16 directions and perform a spinning jump by holding a direction while jumping, increasing height and distance. The article previews the first few rounds, showcasing diverse challenges like navigating via balloons or using ropes. The page also discusses the game's connection to the 7-Up soft drink, noting its unavoidable presence when talking about Cool Spot. It touches on the history of 7-Up's distributor, Pepsi-Cola, and their reputation for comparative advertising, suggesting the game might carry a similar spirit, even including a comparison screenshot. A message from the developer, Virgin Games, introduces Cool Spot as their first title to appear in the magazine's third-party section, emphasizing the fun of Spot's movements and the satisfying ending. This page features a special talk session with Konami's Sega Mega Drive development staff, including Uwaji Bancho, Furano Jun, and Hanaten. The discussion centers around user requests for game ports to the Mega Drive. A major point of discussion is the frequent request for the arcade shooter, XEXEX. The developers explain that porting it is technically challenging due to the arcade version's reliance on specific hardware effects that are difficult to replicate on consumer systems without significant compromises, such as losing features like multilayer scrolling. Other requested ports mentioned include Gradius 2, Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake, Snatcher, Salamander, Life Force, and Contra Spirits. Contra 2Y. The staff expressed personal desires to see some of these games ported, particularly Metal Gear 2 and Snatcher. Updates on current projects are also provided. Rocket Knight is complete, with a large new project now in progress. Vampire Killer, likely Castlevania, Bloodlines for the Mega Drive, has just started development aiming for a year-end release,
incorporating new elements like outdoor stages and complex character sprites. Lethal Enforcers is confirmed to be in development for the Mega CD. The session ends with the staff acknowledging user requests and hoping to make some of them a reality. Popful Mail introduces Material equals Horun, a former powerful sorcerer now on the run with a massive bounty. He's described as haughty, yet mischievous, incredibly fast, and talkative, bordering on genius. The comic features him imprisoned and complaining. A recurring column on stereograms, stegra, follows, with the author providing a method for viewing them, claiming they're easily seen with the right technique. He uses his own presbyopia as a helpful tool for viewing the 3D images. This page introduces several more characters and locations from the world of Popful Mail. First up is Tat, known as Blackie in Japan, described as a dangerous elf guy. He's infamous for carrying handmade bombs and is known as the walking arsenal of the elf village. Despite this, he's surprisingly cautious. He once left the elf village to see the outside world but froze in fear when encountering a monster, only to be saved by Mail. He and Mail have a strange connection, often ending up helping each other. Next, we learn about the inhabitants of the elf village, including Tat's hometown. They live underground in the forest and are generally cheerful, though some are harsh towards Tat. There's also Nos, Jakob, a dwarf who appears infrequently but is important. Unlike typical grumpy dwarves, Nos is outgoing and has a strong physique, aiming to be a cutting-edge dwarf. He's a master craftsman, and Mail will eventually rely on his skills. The page also briefly mentions the residents of the monster cave, including the ghouls, Gawu. They live peacefully raising fish, and are surprisingly timid, even afraid of monsters. They guard treasure chests, which Mail often ends up stealing. Finally, the miners are introduced, who work tirelessly in the mines. Some are kind, while others are greedy. They are also scared of ghouls and avoid interaction. Several screenshots from Popful Mail are shown alongside these descriptions, illustrating the characters and environments. This page introduces the world of Urai Gakuen, specifically focusing on the upcoming Mega CD version of the game. It opens with a summary scene, highlighting the subtropical island setting and the early summer break enjoyed by the students. A section titled, School Visit Part 2, Urai Academy is Scary, provides a narrative glimpse into the school's chaotic atmosphere. It describes escaping classes and encountering students in strange outfits wielding swords, revealing a peculiar aspect of the school's security. This section introduces two opposing security groups, the School Patrol Unit and the Public Security Committee. Both are student-run organizations tasked with maintaining order, but they have a strained relationship, partly due to the Public Security Committee's more punitive approach. Illustrations depict these groups in action, showing large-scale brawls and specific character designs for the committee members. The page also features a call for reader contributions titled, You Make Mega CD Hurai Academy. Readers are encouraged to send in ideas based on their own school experiences, rumors, or desired locations to be included in the game. The text notes that implemented ideas could lead to the contributor's name being included in the game credits, effectively engraved on the Mega CD. A sketch map shows various school locations like the gate, grounds, building, ponds, and shrine, giving examples of places readers might suggest. The address for submitting these ideas is provided. Overall, the page blends setting introduction, narrative snippets, and community engagement for the anticipated game. This page takes you behind the scenes at the game developer climax, showcasing a special project for Zekao Ukoku. It focuses on a planning meeting for a mysterious new adventure action game utilizing the DDS system. The key players are Nanio-kun, an eccentric newcomer planner, portrayed as a plush character, described humorously as an 8-year-old alien, and the chief programmer, President Naito. The meeting highlights the common challenge in game development: brilliant ideas clashing with technical limitations. Nanio-kun proposes ambitious visuals, including large objects and hundreds appearing simultaneously, reflecting a planner's boundless creativity. However, the programmer grounds the discussion in reality, explaining the hardware constraints, such as object size, and the strict limit on how many objects can be displayed on screen at once. Specifically, only 32. This reality check provides a glimpse into the technical hurdles developers faced on classic hardware. The article notes this segment was also featured on an NHK educational TV program about game production. It's a fun look at the dynamic between creative vision and programming feasibility. This page features Jam Oji-san's column, titled something like Merits from the Electric Shell. It focuses on aiming to become a Mega Drive master by seeking out quality games. The column kicks off by mentioning titles from various genres, such as Star Cruiser, Outrun, Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, and Wrestleball. The main part dives into game recommendations categorized by genre. For action games, classics like Strider, Ghouls on Ghosts, Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, and The Revenge of Shinobi are highlighted, with Strider noted as a memorable title Jam Oji-san managed to clear. The shooting genre includes intense games like Twin Cobra and M.U.S.H.A, along with Granada and Thunder Force 2i, the latter being described as having high difficulty. Jam Oji-san admits not playing many RPGs, but recommends Sorcerian, expressing disappointment at the lack of RPGs on the system. Simulation games are said to have many masterpieces, with Langrisser, Master of Monsters, Advanced Military Commander, and Tenkafubu recommended with confidence. Screenshots of The Revenge of Shinobi and Thunder Force 2 are included, noting their classic status and difficulty, respectively. The page concludes with a call for questions from readers for Jam Oji-san to answer. This page is the New Miso Kone Kone Shinbun from June 8, 1993, published by Compile. It kicks off with a manga segment titled, Ah, What is a Jump Hero? Featuring characters, one of whom, named Billy, claims he'll explain what a jump hero is. Other characters, including what appears to be a small crowned creature and figures from the Great Days of Great Island series, react in confusion. The main news section announces the official title for the upcoming Game Gear version of the classic dungeon-crawling RPG series. It's titled Madu Monogatari, The Three Magic Orbs. Known for its connection to the Puyo Puyo universe, and featuring characters like Arle Naja, the game's opening story is teased. The snippet describes Arle, facing her graduation exam, having a nightmare where she sleepwalks, talks about magic orbs, encounters a monster, and is turned to stone. A screenshot shows the game's interface, confirming its first-person dungeon crawler style, much like its PC Engine CD or Saturn counterparts, though on the handheld. The page encourages readers to pick up a Game Gear to experience the adventure with these beloved characters. The manga closes with a dramatic cry from the petrified Artle, and a tease for the next issue's Great Escape chapter. This page features Eric C. Sedensky's column, where this entry, number 13, is all about the buzz surrounding the newly launched J.League Soccer in Japan. Eric, an American working in international business consulting, shares his perspective on the league's popularity, noting the excitement generated by international superstars like Zico and Lineker joining. He recounts visiting a J.League stadium himself, finding it impressive with covered seating and vibrant decorations. Transitioning to video games, Eric mentions playing various soccer titles but highlights his current favorite, J.League Pro Striker. He praises it as a must-have for fans, featuring introductions to the league's players, realistic gameplay, and continuous action. He then reflects on the history of professional soccer in America, specifically the major indoor soccer league, Misplayo, from about a decade prior. He describes the Misgral as an indoor version of soccer with unique rules, like using walls for banking shots, contrasting it with traditional outdoor play. Despite its initial popularity, he notes the league's decline, with the number of teams shrinking over the years. Eric expresses hope for the J.League's success, suggesting that perhaps the Missile might have fared better if it had strong sponsors like Sega, given his positive experience with the J.League game. The page includes a screenshot of J.League Pro Striker, showing a match in progress. The next page delves into the burgeoning era of personal Crendrom creation and multimedia, featuring the column by Asaki Nihyaku. The focus is heavily on Kodak's photo CD technology and its potential for creating interactive content, including simple games. Asaki expresses frustration that Japanese consoles like the FM Towns Marty and the Mega CD haven't fully embraced photo CD support, despite the potential for enhanced multimedia experiences. He explains photo CD as a digital photo system where film is converted to CD-ROM, and discusses the concept of a photo CD portfolio, allowing users to combine images with text, sound, CG, and interactive elements. The author sees this as a way to easily create personal digital photo albums, or even rudimentary adventure games. The page highlights hardware relevant to this trend, including Kodak's photo CD system and the Apple Power COD, noting its compatibility with photo CD and potential as a multimedia player. The author specifically calls out the Sega Mega CD, hoping Sega will enhance its photo CD support to unlock the system's potential as a comprehensive home entertainment machine capable of playing personal multimedia creations. The page includes images of the Kodak system, the Apple Power CAD, and the Mega CD console. The next page dives into the vibrant world of professional wrestling as captured in the media of the time, titled, "The Era is Virtual," and asking, which one will you read? Amidst a boom with 17 organizations vying for attention, magazines are in fierce competition. The review examines several key publications. It highlights the rivalry between the weekly powerhouses, Weekly Pro Wrestling, and Weekly Gong, noting Gong's focus on results and interviews versus Weekly Pro's more feature-driven approach and reader interaction. Weekly Pro is seen as having a slight edge in speed and sales. Bomb Pro Wrestling is noted for its in-depth interviews with stars like the Great Muta, though its longer release schedule makes it easy to miss. Newsprint options like Tokyo Sports, a general sports paper with wrestling coverage, and the traditional weekly fight are also discussed, valued for information, but less suitable for preservation. Finally, the page reviews the home video, Fighting Spirit vs. Special Volume 15, featuring matches like Keiji Muto vs. Power Warrior, Kensuke Sasaki, and Jushin Liger vs. Dean Malenko. The reviewer specifically points out the Muto/Power Warrior match as a highlight, noting fan interest despite it not being televised, and praises Antonio Inoki's charisma, as captured in a practice session included in the video. This page presents the Sugimoto Research Lab column hosted by Rie Sugimoto, focusing this month on the highly addictive puzzle game, Puyo Puyo, known internationally under titles like Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine on the Mega Drive. Rie recounts her initial exposure at an arcade and how she quickly became hooked. She notes that unlike Tetris, simply clearing blocks isn't enough. Strategic chain reactions are key. Rie expresses fondness for characters like the elephant in Puyo Puyo mode and Skeleton-kun from the practice stage. The column also touches on the thrill of versus matches, particularly enjoying the reactions of opponents who get excited when you lose. The Sugimoto chart rates Puyo Puyo highly for fun, beauty, and the likelihood of becoming addicted. A separate segment covers Gary's activities outside gaming, including a mention of movies and music. A reader survey postcard encourages fan feedback on a gaming magazine. It asks for demographic information, including platform ownership, Sega Mega Drive, Game Gear, etc. Readers rate magazine articles and suggest improvements for the Game Gear, such as better screen quality or lower price. Hardware ownership is also queried, along with planned purchases from a list of 60 games. The postcard highlights may issue winners and concludes with a cartoon illustration. This page features breaking news about Shining Force 2 and Shining Force Gaiden 2, including an interview with the Takahashi brothers from Sonic Software Planning. The main title announces the games are approaching the core. There is a photo of Hiroyuki Takahashi, the president of Sonic. The interview discusses the development status of Shining Force 2, described as progressing smoothly, though challenging. They touch upon the scope of the game, mentioning a larger world and increased fantasy elements compared to the first Shining Force. The story is set on a new continent north of the original Rune continent, but there are some connections. Enemy AI is noted as more complex. The battle system has evolved, becoming faster and leaning more towards traditional RPG battles, rather than the simulation style of the first game. Character variety, specifically races, has also increased. They mention Hidefumi Takahashi contributed significantly to the scenario writing for Shining Force 2. This page continues the look at the Shining series, focusing on the Game Gear titles and the overall flow of the franchise. It features an interview with Hidefumi Takahashi, who discusses Shining Force Gaiden 2, known as Shining Force, the Sword of Haja in the West. He explains that Gaiden 2 is designed as an epilogue, or upper volume, to the original Shining Force, intended to answer questions players had after finishing the first game. Takahashi highlights his personal favorite part, the graphic used in the game's final scene. The page also includes a helpful chart outlining the series' chronology and connection. It starts with Shining in the Darkness, the 3D dungeon RPG, followed by Shining Force, the simulation RPG considered the core of the series. Next are the Game Gear titles, Shining Force Gaiden, Shining Force, the Sword of Haja, and its sequel Shining Force Gaiden 2, Shining Force, Final Conflict. Finally, It mentions the upcoming Shining Force 2 for the Mega Drive, which is the direct sequel to the original Shining Force. Screenshots from the Game Gear Gaiden games are shown. The final section hints at the future, teasing the possibility of a third Gaiden title and Hidefumi Takahashi's eagerness to create new games.
This page jumps straight into Shining Force, Final Conflict, known as 2, Gaiden 2, in Japan. It's a direct sequel to the first Game Gear Shining Force, and acts as a bridge connecting the original Shining Force on the Mega Drive to its sequel. The story picks up 2 years after the war depicted in the first Shining Force. We meet a new protagonist who, after getting injured, is rescued and joins the Cypress Castle Guard. While Prince Nick is away seeking treatment for his injury, the castle is attacked by monsters from IOM. It's up to the protagonist and the small guard unit, including characters like the Knight Creed, Archer Angela, Warrior Aaron, Monk Bill, and Magician Natasha, to defend the fortress. The page features several screenshots showing the game's tactical battles and charming pixel art. Combat mechanics are noted as being similar to the previous Game Gear title, but with potentially tougher enemies, so you can't just rush in. It highlights key moments, like discovering a mysterious fallen boy and the shocking theft of the legendary Chaos Breaker sword right from the castle. This theft sets the hero and his new comrades on their adventure, ultimately leading them to confront the resurgent IOM forces and even recruit the thief who initially took the sword. Despite being on the Game Gear, the presentation and depth look solid, living up to the series' reputation. This page reveals a trove of new information on Shining Force 2 for the Mega Drive. Following up from last month, we're treated to many game screenshots, finally getting a glimpse of the world map and intriguing story elements. The focus immediately shifts to the battle scenes. We see encounters with massive giants, so large only their legs are visible, which the magazine compares to the mythological giant Talos. The standard character and enemy HP/MP displays are shown during these dramatic clashes. The field screens also offer surprises. We see various locations, including what appears to be Grand Seal Castle with an ancient tower, forest areas with small villages and caves, and even a peculiar screen that looks like characters adventuring on a desktop, complete with objects resembling office supplies. This hints at a truly fantastical setting. The magazine expresses excitement about these reveals, noting the high quality of the graphics and the mystery surrounding some of the locations and giant enemies. Shining Force 2 is an RPG heading to the Mega Drive, aiming for an October release. This page dives deeper into Shining Force 2, presenting the story's prologue and a world map of the Palmetia continent. The prologue kicks off with the renowned thief and treasure hunter, Zippo, successfully retrieving a legendary treasure from the ancient shrine, 2 large jewels. This act, however, triggers ominous thunder and marks the beginning of the adventure. The protagonist lives in the castle town of Grand Seal with their mother, apparently new to adventuring. The map displays several key locations. Grand Seal Castle is the capital of the Grand Seal Kingdom, founded by immigrants from Palmetia. Garum Castle is another settlement from Palmetia, located north of Grand Seal with friendly relations. The Devil's Tail is home to the villain Creed, described as disliking humans but generally harmless unless provoked. The Mitra Shrine is dedicated to the goddess of bounty, Mitra, a place of deep faith. The ancient tower and ancient shrine are both thousands of years old. The tower's unopening door holds significance for Grand Seal's name, while the shrine is rumored to contain treasure that no hunter has managed to retrieve. Finally, Volcanon Mountain and its shrine are dedicated to the bird god Volcanon, who favors bird races and reportedly looks after humans. The page also introduces a new character, Hugh Caney, a centaur who is a friend of the protagonist and still training. He's described as a bit timid but joins the battle party, with anticipation for his courageous moments. This page presents a fascinating deep dive into Sega, asking if you truly know the company beyond just the games. It's a special feature exploring Sega's many facets, prominently displaying the iconic Sega logo, Sonic the Hedgehog, and visuals of an F1 car in various arcade machines like Outrunners and boxing games, alongside the Mega CD console. The article explores Sega's history, starting from its origins as an import company in the 1950s that supplied jukeboxes to US military bases. It explains how the name evolved from service games to Sega. It highlights Sega's long-standing presence in the arcade scene, detailing early hits like Head On and Tranquilizer Gun, and noting Sega's involvement during the massive Space Invaders boom in 1978.
Beyond just arcade games, it mentions Sega's development of amusement facilities and other high-tech entertainment. Vertical timelines briefly chart Sega's path, mentioning key milestones like the release of the SG-1000 console, the Mark II-I, the Mega Drive and the Mega CD, along with arcade successes like Hang-In and Space Harrier, and the global explosion of Sonic the Hedgehog. It makes clear that Sega has always been much more than just a home console maker. This page continues the special feature exploring Sega's multifaceted history and influence. It highlights Sega's early rivalry with Nintendo, detailing the release of their first home consoles like the SG-1000 and the Master System, Mark II-Y. The article then moves to the 16-bit era, showcasing the Sega Genesis, Mega Drive, and mentioning the Sega CD, Mega CD, and Game Gear, noting Sega's commitment to multiple hardware platforms. The focus shifts to the arcade scene, emphasizing Sega's pioneering Experience game series, with iconic titles like Hang-In and Space Harrier, which created a new trend in arcade entertainment. It also touches upon Sega's pursuit of high-tech realism through simulators like the R360 and early VR concepts, as well as realistic racing cabinets like those for Super Monaco GP. The piece mentions the ongoing popularity of UFO catchers, crane games, crediting Sega with the idea of using plush toys as prizes. Finally, it previews a report on the Genesis version of Virtua Racing, highlighting Sega's impressive development power in creating polygon-based games. Overall, the content celebrates Sega's diverse contributions across home consoles, arcades, and broader entertainment, painting a picture of an innovative and wide-ranging company. This page continues the special feature, focusing on Sega's game development and strategy. It features interviews with Sega executives Fukio Minegishi and Shigeo Kamada, discussing the performance and future of their hardware and software. They talk about the positive reception to the Mega Drive 2, Genesis Chapter 2, and Mega CD 2, Sega CD 2, releases, noting improved distribution allowing them to reach more retailers, including toy stores. They express confidence in reaching a sales target of 1 million units for the Mega Drive 2 this year. The executives highlight the success of recent software titles like Sonic 2, Puyo Puyo, and Streets of Rage 2, indicating a shift towards popular, long-selling games. They anticipate strong sales momentum from summer through the end of the year. A photo shows the Sega CD-X Multimega hardware. The page also includes a fun section titled Sega's 7 Wonders, specifically focusing on Sonic the Hedgehog. It reveals that Sonic was chosen as Sega's symbol character from 1,500 employee submissions, and describes his ubiquitous presence within the company, including drawings in employee break rooms and on vending machines. A photo features a giant Sonic statue next to a Sega World vending machine. This page continues the special feature, delving into Sega's development structure and future plans. Sega executives discuss increasing their development teams and personnel, highlighting successful external titles like Gunstar Heroes and Shining Force 2. They also point to strong internal efforts on RPGs, such as Surging Aura and Phantasy Star IV, and mention Echo the Dolphin from Sega of America. Regarding Mega Drive, they emphasize Virtua Racing as the year's key title, showcasing its technical ambition with custom chips and significant resources. They also hint at unannounced RPG and simulation games. For the Mega CD, all titles are getting attention, with Sonic CD promising a fresh take on the character. They indicate a surge in new Mega CD titles, especially from companies new to Crodrom development, including those in film and music industries. They tease many exciting titles coming soon, mentioning Eyes, specifically from this summer. The side panels offer interesting local color, noting the convenient direct train connection from Shinagawa to the Keikyu Haneda line, which serves Sega's headquarters. They also touch upon the local Anamori Inari Shrine, recognized as a significant spot near Okatori Station, with Sega employees visiting monthly. The general sentiment is one of increasing momentum and exciting releases across both platforms. Sega executives discussed their J.League sponsorship, emphasizing its effectiveness in boosting brand awareness and promising continued expansion. They highlighted Sega's increasing popularity, particularly with students, attributing this to the company's emphasis on employee satisfaction and allowing young people to utilize their skills. Hiring focuses on applicants with experience with Sega products like the Mega Drive. Future strategy prioritizes promotion and marketing. The interview also touched on the Mega CreD's evolution towards more multimedia-rich games, exemplified by The Story of the Dream Mansion. Other sections mentioned a potential high-tech factory in Chiba, a book detailing Sega's history, and an image of the headquarters. This page features a Think You Know Sega special report, diving into Sega's plans for arcades, Game Gear, and toys. In the arcade section, Sega highlights upcoming titles like the second game in the legendary Outrun series, Outrunners, promising a thrilling ride. They also mention a power-up version of Daytona, likely referring to the upcoming Daytona USA, shown at AOU. Screenshots showcase the intense 3D action of Dark Edge, and the realistic boxing simulation offered by the Title Fight arcade cabinet. For Game Gear, the focus is on Sonic and Tails, likely Sonic the Hedgehog 2 or Sonic Chaos, emphasizing its signature speed and enhanced action. Readers are encouraged to look forward to high-quality software. Game Gear screenshots show Shining Force Gaiden, Shining Force, The Sword of Haja, and Bare Knuckle 2, Streets of Rage 2, confirming these titles are also coming to the handheld. The toy section centers on the Kids Computer Pico, Sega's educational system for young children. It leverages Sega's expertise to create interactive picture book software, featuring characters like Doraemon and Mickey Mouse. The message to readers encourages them to buy the Pico for their own children when they become parents. The page also includes side notes about Sega's environment. Their new headquarters building is under construction, and they reveal popular local eateries near the company for Sega employees, including places serving shanpon and a famous fried chicken set meal. This page features a special report all about the upcoming Mega Drive port of Virtua Racing. It announces that the Mega Drive version will include a special high-speed calculation chip developed by Sega to help reproduce the complex polygon graphics that were a defining feature of the arcade original. The article highlights that this custom chip is crucial for bringing the game's visual fidelity and fast pace to the home console. Screenshots of the Mega Drive version are shown, although the article notes that the graphics are still early in development, only 20% complete, and are temporary, so the final game will look better. It confirms multiple camera views will be available. The article also provides context on the arcade Virtua Racing, which was released the previous fall and used the powerful Model 1 board capable of extensive polygon processing, also mentioning the arcade version's impressive multiplayer cabinets. While the Mega Drive version aims to replicate the core gameplay, the article notes that unfortunately, it seems communication battles, multiplayer linking, won't be included. The next page continues the special report on the Mega Drive port of Virtua Racing, diving deeper into its features and the development process. It emphasizes the successful reproduction of the arcade game's key camera view switching system, showing examples of the rear, diagonal above, and overhead perspectives players can select. The article reiterates the importance of the special high-speed calculation chip developed specifically for this Mega Drive version, noting that its use for other games is currently undecided. While the arcade Virtua Racing ran on the powerful Model 1 board, capable of processing complex polygons, Sega is using this custom chip approach to bring similar graphics to the home console. Screenshots of the Mega Drive version are shown, but the article clarifies these are from an early stage, only 20% complete, and the final graphics will be improved. Looking ahead, the feature discusses Sega's strategy for porting popular arcade titles, stating that they aim to aggressively bring hit games to the Mega Drive, potentially utilizing special chips, like the one developed for Virtua Racing when necessary. This approach is compared to Nintendo's use of the Super FX chip for games like Star Fox, highlighting Virtua Racing as Sega's answer in bringing advanced 3D graphics to home consoles. Expectations are high for Sega's technical prowess based on this project. It's mentioned that the game's course layouts will match the arcade version, but multiplayer linking is unfortunately not included. The next page continues the special report on the Mega Drive version of Virtua Racing, focusing specifically on the custom high-speed calculation chip. The article explains that this chip is essential for the game due to the large number of polygons it needs to process, making it the first time a special chip has been used on a Mega Drive cartridge. The key benefits of this chip are detailed. Firstly, it provides the necessary speed for processing calculations, resulting in smooth, fast gameplay crucial for a racing title like Virtua Racing. Secondly, it allows for a much higher polygon count than what the standard Mega Drive hardware or even chips like the Super FX on the Super Famicom can handle, enabling a faithful port of the arcade's 3D graphics. The page also includes a brief overview of other special chips found in different systems, mentioning Nintendo's Super FX chip used in games such as Pilot Wings and Star Fox on the Super Famicom, and C's DSP chip, seen in games like Exhaust Heat 2. It also touches on Konami's VRC series chips used in Famicom games, like Castlevania 3, for purposes like sound and RAM expansion. This provides context, showing that using special hardware is a method other companies have also employed to enhance console performance. This page features a preview of the upcoming Mega CD title, Sylphid, in the Mega CD press section, which introduces new discs. The article highlights that the game is nearing release, with development progressing smoothly, noting the title screen is complete and the game is currently at 95% completion. It also mentions that the game drew significant attention at a recent toy show, and that future features will focus on the game's weapons. The text includes a curious comment about the cool English in the game. The core of the feature delves into the game's backstory, explaining why the player must fight. In the distant future, humanity has expanded into space, linked by the Earth-centered galactic network controlled by the Grayson system. However, a rebel leader named Zacharite hacks the system, taking control of the unmanned fleet and conquering Earth. The player pilots the SAC-77, Sylphid, humanity's trump card, to liberate Earth. The page also includes artwork of a character identified as potentially being the Emperor of Space. This page continues the look at the upcoming Mega CD shooter, Sylphid, shifting focus to the game's extensive weapon system. The article reveals that the SAC-77 Sylphid boasts a wide variety of armaments, including 4 main shot types like the forward beam, frangible beam, V-beam, and auto-aiming, along with 4 subweapons such as the supernova, counter-trash, photon torpedo, and axle bomb. A key strategic element highlighted is the ability to select different weapons for the ship's left and right sides, allowing for diverse attack patterns. However, since both main shots fire from a single button, the text suggests it's often practical to choose the same weapon for both sides. Weapon selection is crucial and must be done on a dedicated screen before starting each stage, emphasizing the need to plan your loadout based on the challenges ahead. Visuals include a screenshot of the weapon selection interface and diagrams detailing where different weapon types are mounted on the 77 airframe, illustrating the versatility of the system. This page delves deeper into the formidable arsenal available in Sylphid, detailing both primary weapons and special options for the SAC-77 craft. Primary weapons like the standard forward beam, the wide coverage phalanx beam, the lock-on auto-aiming, and the V-beam offering dual forward shots are explained, highlighting their specific uses against different enemy formations. The article also covers potent option weapons, such as the screen-clearing supernova, the defensive counter-trash that orbits the ship before firing, the powerful photon torpedo for concentrated damage, and the null bomb, which generates an explosive shockwave. Strategic advice is given on when to best utilize these limited-use abilities. Furthermore, the page showcases the numerous support items scattered throughout the stages. These include essential pickups like various levels of shield recovery, from partial to full, temporary invincibility for those risky maneuvers, items granting extra continues, and several types of bonus items that contribute to your score. Picking up these items is crucial for survival and achieving high scores, adding another layer of strategy to the intense gameplay. This page features a preview of new stages in Sylphid, highlighting areas still under development. It follows up on previous coverage of the asteroid and fortress stages by introducing the outer space and Grand Fleet areas. Area 2, Outer Space, challenges players to navigate through fields of icebergs, emphasizing the importance of dodging skills to avoid collision damage, especially as enemy fighters also appear. Area 8, the Grand Fleet stage, presents a daunting scenario where the player's 777 ship faces a mass of rebel battleships that unleash numerous laser attacks. The text questions how one could possibly dodge so many lasers, underscoring the intense challenge of this area. A peculiar polygonal image is shown, possibly a demo scene related to the game's story. Finally, a striking sequential photo series depicts an Allied cruiser being struck and destroyed by a laser, presented as a demonstration of the game's polygon detail despite the grim subject matter. The article notes the game is still in development, with detailed stage information planned for a future issue. This page dives into the narrative flow and voice acting of Sylphid on the Mega CD. It provides a commentary on the unfolding events in the game, starting with the shocking destruction of the player's mothership by a large missile barrage. The article highlights the inclusion of English voice acting for the pilot and operator dialogue, noting that while sometimes crude, it significantly enhances the game's excitement. The combination of the cool music and these impactful English voices is praised as the best. A sequence of screenshots is presented, each depicting a crucial moment in the game alongside the corresponding in-game English voice line and Japanese commentary explaining the situation. From the initial launch and combat encounters to receiving hits, warnings, the destruction of the fleet, and the gathering of survivors, it offers players a glimpse into the intensity and atmosphere the voice acting adds to the space battles. The next page features Sonic the Hedgehog CD on the Mega CD, noted as 60% complete, and expected for a September release. Under the headline, Check 1, the page announces the unveiling of new screens and highlights Sonic's ability to race through the past and future. Following its initial reveal, information on Sonic CD had been scarce, but new details were presented at the Tokyo Toy Show. The core feature here is the use of the CRUD's large capacity to implement time travel, allowing multiple eras to exist within the same stage. Screenshots show how levels differ drastically between the past, present, and future, promising exciting time-bending gameplay.
Check 2 reveals the new setting, Little Planet.
Described as a small, natural world teeming with peaceful animals, a strange situation is afoot. The animals are nowhere to be found, and seem to be hiding, possibly fearing Sonic himself. The article ponders what could have happened. Below this, a collection of new enemy characters from the first 3 zones are shown, featuring unique mechanical designs that hint at the challenges ahead. The page underscores the anticipation for this new Sonic adventure.
Sonic CRID's gameplay expands with the introduction of time travel and Little Planet.
Check 3 introduces Amy Rose, an 8-year-old, fortune-telling tomboy who relentlessly pursues Sonic, despite lacking romantic interest. Check 4 details the new time attack mode, allowing players to compete in speedrunning, recording top times for zones, and the full game. Check 5 showcases the game's first ever animated opening, produced by Toei Animation, known for Dragon Ball, offering a visually distinct Sonic experience beyond gameplay. Future reports on Sonic CD are promised. The next page introduces Ishi Hisaichi no Taiseikai, a unique political simulation game for the Mega CD. Players take on the role of a young secretary on the path to becoming prime minister, navigating the political landscape filled with the distinctive gag humor and characters of artist Ishi Hisaichi. The gameplay combines elements of RPG and board games, centering on election preparation. Actions are decided based on TV broadcasts, followed by activities in various areas to boost support and collect funds. Investigation plays a key role, helping pave the way for successful activities. The game is presented in 3 parts, with the initial scenario being the Jingasa arc. This one-player simulation promises a humorous and challenging journey through the world of politics, shown here with 60% completion. This page dives deeper into the mechanics of Ishi Hisaichi no Taiseikai on the Mega CD, focusing on the crucial aspects of political life. It highlights the importance of raising funds, which can be done diligently, including selling items acquired throughout the game. Other vital activities, like resting or engaging in various entertainments, are also available, essential for a politician's well-being. The core of the page details the election campaign minigame, specifically within the Jingasa arc scenario. After 1 year in the main game, a local election is triggered, starting a board game-like simulation. Players navigate the electoral district, traveling by car to different areas to conduct campaign activities like speeches and strategic maneuvers to win votes from 3 rival candidates. Screenshots show character portraits with stats, a map of the district, and action menus for campaigning. Actions include giving speeches to gain votes, employing strategies, though some, like slander, can backfire as shown in one screenshot, and mobilizing campaign workers for grassroots activities like door-to-door visits. The game promises an expanding scale as the scenario progresses, making the election battles increasingly exciting. This page dives into the upcoming Mega CD release of Popful Mail, showing the game is 40% complete and heading towards a fall release. It highlights the progress on the animated opening sequence, with storyboards giving a glimpse into the action. A major feature discussed is the voice acting, which is presented as crucial for the game's characterization. The page proudly introduces the main voice cast, including Megumi Hayashibara voicing Mail, Toshihiko Seki as Tat, Shigeru Chiba as Ga, Tatsuyuki Ishimori as Material, and Nobuo Tobita as Blackie. Short quotes from the actors share their thoughts on their roles and the recording experience. Screenshots show the title screen and a dynamic scene from the opening, confirming the game is coming together with full voice support for the characters. A group photo from the recording studio captures the team working on the game's audio. This page focuses entirely on the Mega CD RPG Illusion City, which is now 100% complete and released. It's described as a highly anticipated, super legendary RPG, blending cyberpunk and super legend elements in a near-future setting, promising a detailed world and engaging story. A key feature is a detailed character relationship chart, illustrating the connections between the main protagonists and the opposing Matenkyo/Siva faction. It highlights various relationships, like childhood friends, allies, rivals, and even potential romance or utilization, hinting at the complex character interactions that deepen later in the game. The article teases backstories for key characters like the Master and Kai, and mentions other important figures not fully detailed here, urging players to discover the full story for themselves. For players struggling in the early game, the page provides a strategy flow chart covering the first half of the story. This step-by-step guide helps navigate locations, trigger events, and progress through the initial scenarios, offering a reliable path forward. Screenshots show gameplay, including visiting a shop to buy equipment and interacting with characters, reinforcing the guidance provided. The page positions itself as an essential resource for anyone delving into the game's intricate narrative and world. This page dives into Dungeon Master 2, Skullkeep, hailing the return of a legendary real-time RPG series, making its debut on the Mega CD ahead of other platforms. The core objective is to repair vital machinery within Skullkeep Castle, but the adventure extends beyond the dungeon depths. A major new feature allows players to venture outdoors and engage in combat in these new environments. The game maintains the survival elements, requiring you to manage food and water for your party while navigating various traps. The page highlights enhanced player freedom, such as the ability to interact more intricately with the environment, like opening chests to store items or rotating tables to access objects behind them. Item selling is now possible, with prices fluctuating depending on the location, adding a new layer to resource management. Screenshots showcase the revamped visuals, featuring both classic dungeon views and the new outdoor areas, along with glimpses of the updated interface, interactions, and character selection screen, emphasizing the game's evolution while retaining its challenging core. It also briefly touches on the variety of traps designed to test the player's wit and resources. This page features Jansen World Cup for the Mega CD, released on August 27th for 8,200 yen. It's highlighted as a top-tier 4-player mahjong game, now ported to the Mega Drive system. A key feature is its learning function that adapts to the player's style, creating an AI opponent that mimics your own play, offering a unique growth aspect. The World Cup mode is a major draw, letting players travel domestically and internationally to challenge 88 different mahjong masters. Screenshots showcase the mahjong table view, various character portraits of the opponents you'll face, described as a diverse cast, and map screens showing the travel progression across Japan and eventually overseas locations like Egypt and the USA. A free battle mode allows challenging any of the 88 opponents, each with their own distinct playstyle. The game aims to recreate the feel of real mahjong battles, promising challenging and realistic matches. This page features a preview of the classic adventure game Monkey Island on the Mega CD. Released by Victor Entertainment, this port brings the quirky graphics and engaging story of the original to Sega's CD system. The game challenges you to become a pirate by completing 3 difficult trials. The article highlights the game's core mechanics, emphasizing the importance of look, take, and talk actions. It briefly touches on the progression, noting that while some parts require creative thinking, the initial stages are manageable. A particularly memorable detail is the description of grog, the infamous pirate drink, detailing its truly horrifying list of ingredients, including gasoline, sulfuric acid, and battery fluid, a testament to the game's dark humor. The guide then focuses on exploring the town, suggesting players talk to everyone they meet to gather information needed to clear the trials. It shows and briefly describes various locations and encounters, such as talking to a man on the street, stumbling upon a suspicious circus troupe with rats, encountering someone calling out from off-screen, finding the church empty at night, and noting the heavily guarded governor's mansion. The article conveys the game's distinctive atmosphere and humor. This page continues the preview guide for the Mega CD port of the classic adventure game, The Secret of Monkey Island. It delves into more specific locations and challenges players will face after exploring the main town area on Melee Island. Locations highlighted include the mysterious voodoo shop, where creepy items abound, suggesting something might be taken despite it being closed. The jail is featured, where a prisoner holds valuable information but has terrible breath from eating rats, presenting a puzzle to solve before they will talk. The general store is also shown, described as selling everything, with a unique owner. While nothing can be bought initially, interacting with the owner and observing the scene is important. There's a mention of a suspicious oracle found by going behind a shop. The guide then focuses on navigating the island using the world map, noting that some areas are restricted until certain conditions are met. Players will encounter other characters, such as a drunken pirate, who might cause trouble. Screenshots show various locations, like the dark island map at night, a bridge with a guard who requires something other than money to pass, and a distant small island worth visiting. Finally, the circus tent is emphasized as a key early location, where two arguing clowns present a problem that requires finding a substitute item to resolve. The page showcases the game's variety of locations and interactive puzzles. This page dives into Dai Hoshinden, a massive RPG coming to the Mega CD from Victor Entertainment. Based on the epic Chinese novel Hoshin Enji, this game has been in concept for 3 years and promises a grand, spectacular continental romantic adventure. The development staff discuss how the relative lack of strict historical sources for this period allows them immense freedom in crafting the world and story, making anything go with the setting and events. An interesting point from their discussion is the focus on character development and human growth through the gameplay experience. The page also features character illustrations for key figures like the strategist Taikobo, the powerful Nataku, and other important characters including Kotenka, Gyokuran, Kotensho, Kihatsu, Yozen, and Bukichi. This is shaping up to be an ambitious title for the Mega CD RPG library, currently noted as 48% complete. This page continues the in-depth look at Dai Hoshinden, an ambitious RPG for the Mega CD. Developers discuss how they infuse personality into the character's AI during battles and implement the game's unique systems like Senjutsu, a form of magic, and powerful treasure orbs that serve as ultimate weapons derived from the game's lore. They also touch upon the challenges faced during development, particularly ensuring consistency in the expansive scenario and refining the overall game design. Visuals showcase distinct map areas, including the Immortal World and the Lower World, accompanied by text promising a strong human drama within the game. The page introduces the core development team behind the project, showing photos and roles for the scenario writers handling different realms and the game's director and planner. Additionally, various character designs are featured, including colorful pixel sprites and character sketches of figures ranging from mythical beings like Kappas and flame demons to key characters like King Zhao. This page previews the classic PC RPG Might and Magic 2i, Isles of Terra, making its way to the Sega CD. The article highlights the game's famous sense of freedom and its transition to the console, noting the helpful icon-based interface which makes the complex system more accessible, even for beginners. Screenshots showcase the game's signature first-person dungeon-crawling view, detailed character portraits, and the expansive world map of the Isles of Terra. The text discusses the vast, varied world, the importance of paying attention to diverse climates, and the open-ended quest system, where players decide their own path. Advice is given to start leveling up on the Great Island before tackling tougher challenges, though the reviewer notes, even early monsters like the Ghost Mushroom provide a decent challenge for new adventurers. The preview emphasizes the game's deep RPG mechanics, translated effectively to the Sega CD. This page delves further into Might and Magic 2, Isles of Terra on the Sega CD, focusing on the battle system and town life. Combat is icon-driven and semi-real-time. Monsters approach as you move, and distance matters for ranged attacks. Actions must be swift and cautious. The page provides a detailed breakdown of the icon commands used both in and out of battle, covering everything from attacking and casting spells to resting, managing items with various subcommands, checking the map, viewing quests, and even attempting to break down barriers. The starting point for adventurers is the town of Fountainhead. This crucial hub contains nearly all essential facilities needed for your journey. Players are encouraged to explore the town thoroughly to learn the basic systems of buying/selling items, repairing gear at the blacksmith, healing at the temple, gaining information and supplies at the inn, leveling up at the training ground, learning spells at the guild for a fee, and managing finances at the bank. The town map is shown, along with screenshots highlighting the inn and training ground environments. The article emphasizes the importance of mastering the use of these facilities early on. Over 100 monster types and beautiful backgrounds are mentioned, adding to the game's depth. This page features the Mega CD compilation Arcus I, II, and 2i from Wolf Team. It's an RPG set for a July release, priced at 8,800 yen, and confirmed for one player. The article gives a high completion rating of 95%, noting its significant volume. The feature covers key aspects of the game, starting with the story. The heroes venture into Milieu's Tower, a place rumored to hold the key to solving the mystery of the spirits, and infested with undead monsters. They encounter a locked door but meet Solm Segasia, a girl who lives nearby, who helps them. Progressing requires finding crystals to unlock paths, a key element of exploration. The quest soon involves seeking the 4 holy vessels, said to be held within the Elmazard Sanctuary. Ancient texts reveal that the spirits sealed their power within these artifacts. The party's journey leads them towards the sanctuary. The battle information section shows the combat interface and mentions that players can change character classes upon leveling up, urging careful consideration of these choices. The artwork showcases the main party characters and key locations or moments from the game. This page continues the feature on the Mega CD RPG Arcus II, picking up the narrative as the heroes progress through the Elmazard Sanctuary. They locate the 4 holy vessels, items crucial to their quest, and are guided by the spirits towards the Zeld Desert, where the story continues to unfold. The lower section previews the upcoming Mega CD action game Cyborg 009. Based on the classic manga and anime, this side-scrolling action title is currently 80% complete. The preview notes significant progress in development, mentioning improved hit detection and enemy AI. A key feature is the accelerator device, which grants temporary invincibility and allows for quick, instantaneous attacks, adding a dynamic element to the gameplay. The sound design is also praised, particularly the voice acting for main character Joe Shimomura. The article suggests fans of the series can look forward to its late July release. This page features the upcoming Mega CD action game Popun Land, the Mega CD version of the earlier Famicom title Cocolan. Scheduled for an August release, this single-player action title is set in a diverse dream world, being consumed by the magic user Taysiper. Your mission is to defeat the bosses dwelling within the various dream stages to save the world. The game allows you to transform into different forms, and the article showcases several distinct stages you'll visit, including a temple in the sky, a strange desert with mysterious statues, a funny penguin's house on an icy mountain, a town with a familiar castle boss, a pyramid hiding a boss, a sea made of milk, and a forest surrounded by doodle-like landscapes. A key feature highlighted is the character customization. After defeating each boss, you can create a new character by combining different heads, bodies, and weapons. The article introduces 3 recommended character builds: one strong against airborne enemies, another capable of floating on water and immune to poison, and a well-balanced character suitable for general use. The ability to mix and match parts offers a lot of variety in tackling the game's challenges. This page provides a detailed look at the Mega CD simulation game, Mega Schwarzschild. Described as a simulation that keeps players engaged, the game progresses through episodes involving conquering enemy planets and managing your growing fleet. Success hinges on smart command operations and strategic thinking as the scope of the war expands. The article focuses on Episode 2, Recapture, outlining the mission to aid the allied nation Tristia by liberating the planet OWDI from the Rosarian forces. It stresses the importance of carefully selecting combat formations to overcome numerical disadvantages. A visual guide to the available formations is included, highlighting their strategic value in battle. Screenshots show the strategic map, fleet combat, character portraits like protagonist Alcation and allied leader Tiara, and management screens for refitting ships and viewing fleet status. The reviewer notes that mastering formations is key to winning battles and progressing in the ongoing conflict with Rosaria. This page features previews of 2 upcoming games for the Mega CD. First up is F1 Circus CD, a Formula 1 racing simulation. The game boasts a realistic 3D driver's view and utilizes CD-ROM for enhanced sound, aiming for an immersive experience. It's noted for its detailed car settings and is FIA certified. Game modes include standard races, test drives, and the intriguing FMega mode, where you manage a team with limited funds, striving to reach F1. Described as a dream mode. Screenshots show the cockpit view during a race, with detailed telemetry, configuration options for controls and car settings, and a visual of an F1 car. The reviewer seems impressed by the depth of settings and the realistic sound.
Below that is Dynamic Country Club, a golf game.
This title leverages the Mega CD for beautiful course graphics and CD quality audio, promising a satisfying feel, especially during powerful shots. It includes a dictionary function for rules and terms, making it accessible even for beginners.
Play modes include tournament, stroke play, match play, and foursome. Screenshots display the golfing action from different views, a character image, and the game and mode selection screens. The game is highlighted as an orthodox yet high-grade golf simulation that offers many hours of play.
This page previews the classic AD&D real-time dungeon crawler, Eye of the Beholder, coming to the Sega Mega CD. The article highlights how this port brings the tabletop RPG experience to a solo player with its immersive 3D graphics and challenging gameplay. You'll explore dark dungeons, manage your party's hunger and spells, and face enemies in real-time combat, which the reviewer notes is exciting and makes you feel truly in the adventure. The Mega CD version is praised for its speedy processing, avoiding slowdowns common in 3D games of the era, and maintaining a good tempo. It includes enhancements over the original PC version, such as new items, and adjustments to the interface like the compass and screen layout, improving the overall balance. The music is composed by Yuzo Koshiro, known for the Streets of Rage soundtrack, providing an exciting backdrop. A unique feature is the English voice narration with Japanese subtitles, allowing players to experience the game as an international title while still understanding the story. Screenshots showcase the first-person dungeon view, character portraits, and the user interface during exploration and combat. This page previews several exciting upcoming titles for the Sega Mega CD. Headlining is Deathbraid, a side-scrolling shooter from Human, known for their wrestling games. This marks a departure for them, offering a transforming robot hero, multiple weapon types that power up, and impressive, challenging bosses. The reviewer notes the game is a high-quality addition to the platform's shooter library. Following that is After Armageddon Gaiden, a substantial RPG set 5 years after last Armageddon. Notably, this sequel shifts focus to human protagonists, a significant change from the original. The reviewer expresses excitement for the narrative potential, particularly with the involvement of a respected scenario writer, promising a vast world and engaging story for fans of the previous game and RPGs alike. Finally, the page offers a roundup of other Mega CD news. This includes updates on Sengoku, aiming for a perfect port of the Neo Geo beat-em-up, and Mansion of Hidden Souls, a visually striking, interactive adventure game with a unique atmosphere. The article also touches on other anticipated titles, like the interactive Axe 101, and mentions the status of games such as Sewer Shark, indicating a growing and diverse lineup for the Mega CD. This page celebrates a major milestone for the Sega Game Gear. Domestic shipments have officially exceeded 1 million units. To commemorate this achievement, Sega is launching a 1 million sales commemoration summer campaign. Firstly, the Game Gear console itself is getting a price cut and a new package. The article notes that combined with international sales, the Game Gear is approaching 5 million units worldwide, showing Sega's aggressive push for the handheld. The second major part of the campaign is the GG Plus 1 set. This bundle includes the Game Gear console plus one game, either Sonic the Hedgehog 2 or a unique version of Puyo Puyo. The price is set at a provisional 15,800 yen, a significant drop from the previous 19,800 yen, making it a fantastic value with a packed-in game. Thirdly, Sega is re-releasing 7 selected past Game Gear titles as a masterpiece collection. These popular games, spanning genres like puzzle, strategy, RPGs, racing, outrun, and action, Sonic the Hedgehog, will be available for a budget price of around 2,000 yen, offering a great entry point for newcomers to the system. Finally, a special promotion tied to the Puyo Puyo, included in the bundle, offers a chance to win a limited t-shirt. By clearing all 30 Nazo Nazo modes, players get a password which they can send in to receive the special t-shirt, though it's limited to the first 500 applicants. It's clear Sega is putting a lot of energy into boosting Game Gear sales this summer. This page dives into the highly anticipated Sega Game Gear port of Streets of Rage 2. The article highlights how this version successfully recreates the excitement of the Mega Drive classic, adapting the experience for the handheld. It confirms that all 8 stages are present, although with some layout adjustments specific to the Game Gear. A key focus is on the gameplay depth. noting the rich array of actions available to the player characters: Axel, Blaze, and Skate, referred to as Sammy. Despite the Game Gear's limited buttons, the game incorporates command-based special moves, ensuring the combat feels satisfying. The piece praises the inclusion of the super special moves from the original, stating their presence is impressive. Detailed breakdowns are provided for the basic actions and special techniques for each character, complete with screenshots showing moves like Axel's Dragon Wing and Grand Upper, Blaze's Firebird and Flying Spin Kick, and Skate's Corkscrew Kick and Dynamite Headbutt. The article challenges players to take on the series' antagonist, Mr. X. It also mentions that the Game Gear's PSG sound hardware faithfully reproduces the feel of the arcade-like music. Overall, it positions this Game Gear version as a strong adaptation that provides a solid challenge. This page previews several upcoming games, leading with the highly anticipated adaptation of the blockbuster movie, Jurassic Park, for Sega. Releasing in July, this game promises a mix of shooting and action gameplay as players explore the dinosaur-filled world, with its success potentially boosted by the film's popularity. It's currently 60% complete. Next up is GG-LSD2 from Compile, a speedy vertical SHMUP for the Game Gear planned for September. Known for its fast-paced action, robust power-up system, and challenging bosses, it's highlighted as a strong title for the handheld, demonstrating the Game Gear's capabilities. Development is 80% complete. Also featured is Scratch Golf, a tentative title from Sims for the Game Gear. This golf simulation aims to provide a serious experience accessible anytime, with a Mega CD version also in the works. It's currently 70% complete. Rounding out the game previews is GG Madu Monogatari, the Game Gear entry in the classic RPG series by Compile, known internationally as Sorcery Saga. Following the success of the GG Puyo Puyo, this title brings the original MSX version's atmosphere and dungeon-crawling gameplay, featuring familiar character, Arle Naja. It's 50% complete. Finally, a G.G hotline section includes reader comments, one hoping for more Capcom games on the Game Gear, mentioning titles like Strider and Dynasty Wars, and another anticipating a price drop for the Game Gear following the release of the cheaper Mega Drive 2. This page features the Difficult Games International Rescue Mission section, helping readers overcome tough spots in games. Under the Puyo Puyo heading, players seek help with specific levels in Nazo Puyo on Game Gear, particularly struggling with creating 4-chain combos. The editor notes these were popular questions and provides a brief review of the Game Gear Puyo Puyo title, mentioning its unique mode and challenging puzzles. The Chernov section addresses players stuck on bosses in what appears to be Atomic Runner Chernov for the Genesis/Mega Drive. One player needs help with the final boss, while another is stuck after the Statue of Liberty. Strategies are provided, suggesting the Red Mountain Missile for one boss, and timing attacks while close for the Queen Destalion boss. Screenshots show action gameplay and boss encounters from the game. Finally, under the Shaddam Crusader heading, a reader is stuck in the game's 4th chapter, asking about a cryptic message. The advice suggests learning a specific magic spell found by searching. A quick review praises the game's audio, graphics, system, and humor, despite it appearing to be a title for a different platform like the PC Engine. The page concludes with a call for more rescue requests and the address to send them to. This page features the BeepMD League, Volume 39, where readers share game secrets and cheats. The editors note a lack of exciting new tricks lately, and hope for more with the upcoming summer game releases, continuing the theme of reader-submitted game help from the previous page. Submitted tricks include one for Fatal Fury, Garu Densetsu, that lets you manipulate the control settings and set battle points to a high number, essentially tracking wins in a non-stop mode. There's also a tip for the puzzle game Switch, allowing instant reset to the title screen by holding A, B, C, and pressing Start. For the Game Gear version of Puyo Puyo, a simple method is shared to easily earn high scores by exploiting the time bonus in single-player mode after quitting from Nazo Puyo. Finally, for Zoo Rescue Operation, a trick reveals a hidden menu with sound test, invincibility mode, and map options by pressing a specific button combination involving reset. The page also includes details on how readers can submit their own tricks via postcard, outlining the required information, and mentioning that selected submissions will receive a thank you gift and an original phone card. This page provides a detailed move list for World Heroes 2 characters and features the Neo Geo game, Zoo Papa.
This page is all about reader giveaways and magazine information. It features a prize selection for readers, including 30 copies of their favorite Sega Genesis game, 5 favorite Game Gear games, 5 Sega mice, 5 Sonic the Hedgehog badges from the French magazine Megaforce, 5 Game Arts, special Sylpheed telephone cards, and 5 telephone cards featuring the Birdie Girls from Al-Shiaku. The magazine is seeking feedback from readers and discusses how Sega and Sonic are becoming more mainstream, but suggests that many outside of hardcore fans might not fully grasp the difference between the Genesis and other consoles like the NES or SNES. It encourages readers to share their opinions and notes that the next issue will be released on July 8th. There is also a phone line for questions about the magazine's content and a list of the staff who put the issue together. This page showcases upcoming Sega Genesis arcade ports from Tengen, highlighting 3 different titles. First up is Slap Fight MD, a faithful home conversion of the classic Toplan vertical shooter. It promises the same intense action and varied weapon system as the arcade version, plus an exclusive Mega Drive original mode, set to release on June 11, 1993. Next, we see Marble Madness, bringing the unique isometric puzzle action game to the Genesis. It fully supports simultaneous 2-player gameplay and is even compatible with the Sega mouse, promising a fun challenge as you guide your marble to the goal. Look out for this one on August 13, 1993. Finally, the legendary Dungeon Crawler Gauntlet is coming to the Genesis. This port aims to capture the arcade's magic and supports up to 4 players simultaneously using the Sega Tap peripheral. It features multiple modes including arcade mode, battle mode, and quest mode, with a September 1993 release planned. This page features Steel Talons, the realistic helicopter simulator that was a hit arcade game in the US, making its debut on the Sega Genesis. Published by Tengen, this port brings the full-fledged polygon graphics and intense flying action to the home console. Recruitment for Training Flight begins on June 25, 1993, with a suggested retail price of 6,800 yen. The game is described as putting players in the role of elite helicopter pilots, the Steel Talons, the pinnacle of helicopter aviation. It promises realistic control thanks to high-speed polygon processing. While challenging, the game includes a training mode with 12 missions designed to hone your skills, making it a great entry point for aspiring pilots. Screenshots showcase the game's distinctive cockpit view and polygon environments, depicting airborne combat and ground targets like tanks. This page highlights 2 upcoming Sega Game Gear titles. At the top, we see a feature on Shining Force, the Sword of Haja, the second Game Gear entry in the tactical RPG series. It promises the highest quality system yet, and aims to please both veterans familiar with the story and newcomers, suggesting the latter will be motivated to play previous entries. The article includes character artwork and screenshots depicting the classic isometric battle view. The game was scheduled for release on June 25th at a price of 5,500 yen. The lower section showcases Tom and Jerry, the movie, an action game based on the film. It features artwork of the famous cat and mouse duo and gameplay screenshots. Jerry is shown saying, "Let's not fight nicely," perhaps hinting at the game's playful conflict. This title was also set to release on June 25th, priced at 3,800 yen. The page also includes a small feature promoting the Sega Game Gear handheld itself, emphasizing its color display. The magazine information indicates this is from the July 1993 issue.